Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Reagan Weiss along with
Joey Deeb, co-founders
of The Hub.
I'd just like to start off by prefacing this by saying it's not just us. It's all of our core members of this group that make this. We have a lot of people that have worked hard, put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. Can't mention all of them because there's so many, but we love you all.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for every single one of you, and you know who you are.
I'm live.
To
Stand
be
by.
involved with this. And a lot of people are asking,
I know you are. Take me off the recording.
Why The Hub? Let me tell you why The Hub. The Hub is a place that not just business owners are going to collaborate. It's where our community members are going to collaborate, where ideas are bounced off of one another. We just want to help people. We want to be there. We want to unify not just our businesses, but we want to unify our community. We don't want to hear about the negativity. We don't want to hear. There are so many other places out there that you can hear about the negativity in our community, and this will not be the place.
Our group can be a basis for so many different resources for so many different trades and industries. It's not just isolated to one specific trade or construction or cleaning or any of that. Everybody can come to the Hub to get actual references from real people using these business and utilizing them to see what kind of experiences they've had.
Now, the key word is collaboration, right? And you see that a lot lately, like collaboration. Well, it really is about collaboration. If I didn't know to collaborate with my friends behind the camera, Jordan Long, if I didn't know how to collaborate with all these other people, all these individuals involved, you wouldn't know about us because of those people. Strength are in numbers. So just like Joey said, it's every industry. We want to hear from how your experiences were with your restaurant.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television here live on the Hub on I Love St. Pete and Amped Up Sports. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's get to it. We got breaking news right now coming from Greg Allman of The Athletic. He goes on to tweet out, I can confirm major news for the Bucks. Bruce Arians is retiring as head coach and moving to the front office, with Todd Bowles replacing him as head coach, according to Peter King and LA Times. As Farmer had it first, Arians left the owners' meetings early this week with a stomach bug. Bucks will have an official announcement shortly that Bruce Arians is retiring as head coach. Arians, 69, won a Super Bowl 2 years ago and is a two-time NFL Coach of the Year, 80, 48-1 as head coach with Arizona and Tampa Bay. With Bruce Arians retiring, Bucks turned to his defensive coordinator for the past 3 seasons, Todd Bowles. Bowles, 58, was previously head coach with the New York Jets from 2015 to 18, going 24-40, and he's known Arians since he played for him 39 years ago. Shocking news right now. Welcome to the Sports Web, guys. Phone lines are open. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let me go out to these comments. But this is a shocker, guys. We were supposed to come on at 9 o'clock with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. And this kind of changes things just a little bit, doesn't it? Just a little bit. We talked about it over and over again that there would be some type of possibility. We did hear that BA was in good health, if you will, that he was looking forward to having another season, of course, with Brady returning for his 23rd season. But that's not happening, is it, Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans? Todd Bowles is the new head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's go out to the comments here. Pete, you're early tonight. Must be breaking news. I told you we'd be live when there's breaking news, didn't I? I didn't even get a chance to share it. So if you're out there as a Bucs fan, share the news right now. We're live here on the sports web as Greg Auman has basically put out this bombshell for Bucs fans. Bruce Arians is retiring as a head coach and moving to the front office. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. All right, let's go out to Justin. Shocked. I'm shocked too. Completely shocked. Christopher Cole. National media is going to have a field day tomorrow. Laugh out loud. Why? Why are they going to have a field day? Because people are going to say, well, the reason why Tom Brady came back is because BA was about to retire. I'm not ready to throw that out there. I'm not ready to say that. The man is 69 years old. He's dealt with health concerns before. So we knew that eventually this day was going to come for him. He's won a Super Bowl, 2-time coach of the year. He has nothing left to prove. But what we were under the impression, guys, is that he was going to come back. And why wouldn't you with Tom Brady returning, with all the free agents, with what Jason Light and this Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization has done? Why would you not? Because it's in your best interest, if Tom Brady's returning and all the majority of your free agents coming back, that you have a great possibility to win a Super Bowl, right? So shocking developments here, according to Greg Auman. Bruce Arians has retired. He's moving to the front office. So what do you guys think? Let me put up the number right now. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Corey here. Says Todd Bowles is the head coach now. We will have J.C. Allen as soon as possible. We expected to have him at 9:30. We'll try to see if we can get him on earlier. But, of course, he's with Pewter Report. So he's got his stuff that he has to do, and I get that. We'll try to get you the latest on this situation that has been fast developing. Harry Berg, Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Bye-bye, BA. Like I said, where you have smoke, you have fire. Some people will say that. But he's moving to the front office. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's more of health. But, again, you can assume anything you want to at the end of the day. You really can. Let's go out to Roger Shue. Bye-bye, Bruce. Good riddance. I don't know why you're saying that at all.
Shut up!
Let's go out to Corey here. Bruce Arians now Bucs VP. Harry says Jordan had his head coach fired. Why not TB12? I mean, again, it's been talked about, but this whole rumor of this supposed friction between these parties is a little bit unfounded, but we've heard the rumors, right? We've heard them. Could this have played in it? I don't know. I'm not in the room. I don't know. I'm not a fly on the wall. I wish I was. We're just getting this information in right now from Greg Auman of The Athletic. Again, open phone line if you have something to say about it. What do you think, Bucs fans? Has your perspective, if you will, changed with this team with now Todd Bowles, the new head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's see here. Dave says, how does this affect Brady? It's a great question. I don't know if it affects Brady or not. Brady's coming back for his 23rd year. The rumors are that he wanted to go to Miami, but we know that somebody is not going to announce on Twitter saying he's going to come back for his 23rd year and then hightail it out of here. We know that that's not going to happen. We know. You're not going to recruit players to come back. But if there is some supposed friction, who knows? I don't think there's supposed friction. I don't. I think the coach is worried. He's had his fair share of health problems in the past. We've talked about it. We chronicled it. We talked about the situation when COVID was going on, how the precautions were taken, how that team had to beat the pandemic, which they did. But there was always concerns. There was always concerns about BA's health. And that's why I'm happy that the Bucs were able to keep a Byron Leftwich in-house. That's why I'm happy they're able to keep a Todd Bowles in-house. It's a major loss for BA. That's a major loss. It is. I don't care what anybody says. That's coach of the year twice. He brought a lot to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, including a Super Bowl. And for anybody to sit there and discount that is ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I can't wait to hear the reasoning, says Justin. Thank you very much. Sean says what? I think that's pretty much what everybody's saying. In fact, I'm just getting prepared. I was getting prepared to come on at 9 o'clock and boom, there it is. Text messages blowing up once again. You gotta love it. Trying to eat something and then bam, there it is. But you know what? Breaking news waits for no one. We got it here on the Sports Web on Amped Up Sports. We got you. We got you covered. Let's go out to Corey here. Lori Locust, a Bucs new defensive coordinator. I don't know if that's true or not, but we're going to check. We're going to see. I'm going to check just like you because right now I'm live. I'm trying to produce and I'm trying to take some calls and get some reaction. I hear crickets right now. I don't know what's going on. Let's go out. I believe that it's the South. I do too. And again, Greg Allman mentions this, that Arians left the owners' meetings early this week with a stomach bug. So they're going to have an official announcement, and we're going to try to get as much as we can with it. Let's go out to Ron leading it off here on the Evolution. Breaking news of the night. BA has resigned. He is now in the Bucs front office. Todd Bowles is your new head coach. Your thoughts? Welcome.
Hey, what's going on, Pete?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, good evening to the rest of Tampa Bay and everybody listening around the world.
Right, exactly.
You are on Amped Up in the Sports Web, one of the best shows known to man, right, Pete?
Look,
we bring it straight to you.
Absolutely. I'll definitely do it. I'll definitely try to, and I'm going to go ahead and go with your thought here because I'm going to try to share this show because I don't think I got an opportunity to do that. So go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was something that of all the other news that seems, like you've already gone over and how it just fit.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I don't think anybody expected to hear about something like this tonight, but I mean, in all reality, like, I guess it's somewhat surprising, but in a way, I mean, I don't know, because let's look at some of the things, some of the events last year. I mean, clearly you could see last year that Bruce Arians was having trouble getting, kind of sitting down. I mean, he had some kind of muscular situation going on in his leg. And,
well, he had Achilles injury for much of last season. Right.
It's very, very painful.
Absolutely.
And, he's 69 and, I think that this is a health related thing.
Sure.
I mean, until you can provide facts and proof about any other friction being the cause, I mean, I think it's been more rumor based. Yeah, I feel that it is definitely has to do with health. And the good thing is let's look on the bright side, guys. I mean, it's not like we lost him. I mean, he's going to the front office, so I think Bruce is definitely going to be engaged. He's going to be involved. And you know what I mean? This team, I think it would have been a little bit more of a Debbie Downer had he been leaving, period, and
Right.
leaving the Buccaneers and just retiring, because then
Right.
you're like, wait a minute, what the heck? Like, Brady comes back and Bruce has got all these weapons. Why would he just? But see, he's not really doing that. I think he's just trying to take it easy, and we don't know, Pete, and we don't know, fellow Bucks fans and sports listeners.
Sure.
He could be was told something by the doctor that we have no clue on.
We have no clue, and everybody assumes. Look, the rumors have been that, and I'll go back to J.P. Peterson and Solomon Wilcott's interview where he said the building wasn't the same, and a lot of things were difficult last year, and a lot of people just assumed that it was friction between BA and Brady, and I don't know that situation. I just, we report on what we hear here. We give our opinions. We try to assume that, but I think it's more health than anything else. I'm just wondering what the impact going forward is for this team. Because I think it's definitely a loss, but at the end of the day, you still have Tom Brady, right? I mean, you signed the majority of your free agents. You have Todd Bowles, who's coaching this league. People look at the record, but I think it's unfair because you coach a awful organization in the New York Jets. So how does it change everything? Byron Leftwich is still the offensive coordinator. It's a great point. Who's the new defensive coordinator? We haven't gotten confirmation. Just got the breaking news about 10 minutes ago from Greg Allman. So this is just broke. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it, but does it change anything for Tom? I don't think it changes anything at this point because, again, you have Tom Brady and you have Byron Leftwich, and that's where it comes down to. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, absolutely, Pete. And here's the thing. People could say Lori Locust. I mean, what is she? Defensive line assistant coach.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm sorry if I don't have that information accurate, but I mean, nobody knows that right now. And
right.
You also have to look at
he's retired. Look, he's retired from coaching. He's still going to be in the front office. So, I'm not necessarily buying this whole thing of the reason why he retired was because of some type of friction with Brady. I think this is more health, but you still get him in the front office. You still get his eyes on talent. BA's got a great eye for talent. He's shown that, because anybody who wants to say, well, it's just Jason Light, it's not. It's BA also. That's the reason why the team has improved with talent-wise when it comes to the draft at the end of the day. So
the players that have come in since the
correct
inception of Brady, and just look at the telltale signs.
Yep.
I mean, Bruce was going on hurt. I mean, he obviously has some type of issues, so this shouldn't come as a shock as far as on the health spectrum. I mean, he has not been very close. I mean, like now mentally, yeah.
All right, Ron, I think we're kind of losing here. Go ahead and finish up here, and then we're going to read these comments. Go ahead.
Bruce is a fiery coach. I mean, he still has the passion, but I mean, I think there's health concerns, and I think that's really what's into this. And I don't buy, like you said, Pete, I don't buy the friction between him and Brady. It makes no sense. I mean,
right.
They did fine together. I mean, there was no lapse of performance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, buddy.
I think him being in the front office.
Yeah, we're losing you, coming in and out here. So I appreciate the call. Call back when you get that signal going. I can't stand that. That just drives me crazy. Again, the breaking news, according to Greg Allman of The Athletic, of course, first having it Peter King and LA Times Farmer here, is Bruce Arians is retiring from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's going into the front office. Todd Bowles is your new head coach of the Bucks. Your thoughts tonight, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So once again, we'll monitor the situation. There has been no announcement that I've seen right now that has suggested who is going to be the new defensive coordinator. So Corey, stop doing that. That is fake information at this point. I believe that it is his house, says Christopher Cole. Brady always gets what he wants. Bye, Bruce. Again, you guys are assuming this because of all these other rumors. The Bucs just got better. Now they would definitely run the ball. Super Bowl bound now for sure. We shall see, because it was BA's offense, but also Byron Leftwich calling the plays. So does the offense change that much? I'm not sure. But, they should always put an emphasis, in my opinion, on the running game. They should always try to be balanced. We saw that second half of the year with that Super Bowl run, right? Roger says friction ended today. Sitton says just wow. Christopher Cole says, who's the new defensive coordinator again? No confirmation of that. Roger Shue says it's not a loss. Brady brought the Super Bowl, not Bruce. And once again, anybody coming on this program and trying to troll me and trying to tell me that Bruce Arians didn't bring a Super Bowl here and it was just Brady, you're gonna get this. Because you're absolutely being ridiculous at this point. It was a total team effort. Enough with the nonsense of it was just Brady this, Brady that. Enough with that, guys. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391 is we are expecting Dennis Phillips here about 7 minutes coming in and giving us his latest on how he thinks about this breaking news that just happened. So it's definitely a loss. It is definitely a loss. Look at the record. Look at the players who want to play for him. I think this is more of a health situation than friction, but who knows? Again, who knows about what's going on over there at One Buck Place right now? We do know that once again, BA has officially retired. He's going into the front office. The Bucks will have an announcement here in just a little bit, according to Greg Auman. Let's go out to Jarrell. Yo, what just happened? Yes, it has happened. Let's go out to Roger Shue. You better be paying me overtime for what? Paying you for what? I'll pay you for this. How about that? That's what you get paid for. Let's go out to Jarrell here. I'm about to hit up my girl, Lori. Sandra Nagel, beautiful mother, says watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area, the Sports Web with Damped Up Sports. Absolutely bet US, as we didn't get a chance to play that. Let's go out to Kenny. I heard back when Brady retired that Bruce's wife had been sick a couple times. Any truth to that? I'm not really sure. But I definitely think that would play a part in it. And I also know for a fact from hearing from Bruce's wife that there was always concern, right? There had to be some concern about Bruce's health. But she was supportive of him. You wonder now with this stomach bug, what's going on? At this, again, at this juncture, it's just speculation on my part. I have no factual proof of what is going on besides what we have right now. What do you think, Bucks fans? 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Do the Bucks get a draft pick for hiring a minority as a head coach? That's a great question. That is a great question that I cannot answer right now, to tell you the truth. I cannot. Let's go out to Roger Shue here. He was already on the staff. But again, good question, Mitch. He's not doing anything with talent. He's a pencil pusher until the end of the deal. Well, you're full of it. Because he is a big part. He is absolutely a big part of this coaching staff. He is a big part of this organization. And if you think otherwise, then of course you're just trolling, like always. That's why we call you the tribal troll. Honestly, it is a big loss. And you have to wonder how the offense changes. How does the complexion of the team change at this point? Again, you feel good with getting all your free agents back, but now you don't have your head coach. Now it's Todd Bowles. So let's go out to Christopher Cole. Will Bowles change the offense to run first? Great question. Salvatore says they loaded up since Brady resigned. Exactly. They loaded up this offense to do that. They've signed a lot of their key free agents, namely a Ryan Jensen, namely a Shaq Mason, getting him as a top guard in the National Football League. Pro Football Focus, 4th overall. Of course, you lose Ali Marpet to retirement. You replace him with the Shaq Mason. You re-sign an Aaron Stinney. They may address that position in the draft at 27. But your offensive line, I think, could be actually better, believe it or not. It could get better, right? They re-sign a Leonard Fournette. you do a new contract extension with the Chris Godwin. We're still awaiting word on Rob Gronkowski, but I would assume, and again, this is an assumption on my part, that he's going to be re-signed. But we don't know. We don't know. And then defensively, you get back a Carlton Davis. You lose a Jordan Whitehead, you add a Logan Ryan. So they've done a good job when it comes down, in my opinion, to free agency, replacing this team. Let's see. Roger says, new D coordinator is Harry the Greek. Salvatore says, Arians was good in the desert too. He's good. I mean, look at his record. I mean, I don't understand. And I think, again, this is just a Chicago Bear fan, Mr. Roger Shoe right there, just trolling. But again, coach of the year, 80-48 as head coach with Arizona and Tampa Bay 2 years ago, won a Super Bowl. Coach of the year with Indianapolis. Of course, replacing his coach at the time, who the name escapes me. Right? Being the quarterback whisperer, working with young quarterbacks. You know, not only what does it do for the offense of Brady going forward, what about Kyle Trask? What about him? Now he's taking a front office position. He's not going to be the coach anymore, so he's going to be able to be a quarterback whisperer. You cannot deny the talent that BA has worked with in his career. Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck. Cannot deny it. Let's see here. Richard says, unpopular take, but I'm kind of hoping Bulls hires a new defensive coordinator because his play calling was questionable towards the end of the season. Certainly possible. We've heard nothing yet, but we've seen in the past where, right, you have, a defensive-minded coach who wants to call his own plays. I think being a head coach, he's been that before, so he'll be prepared for the situation. But being a coordinator and being a coach is totally different. There's a lot more responsibility. So they're going, in my opinion, they're going to hire a defensive coordinator. We just have not gotten that announcement. I haven't gotten that announcement yet. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Bruce was the straw that stirred the drink. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's go out to Salvatore. Not bad at Temple University too. Arians, of course. And there is where both parties are familiar with each other, right? We always talk about it. It's not what you know, it's who you know. BA is familiar with a Todd Bowles. So it's not necessarily a bad situation. I believe in Bowles. I believe Bowles can coach in this league. I felt like he was dealt with a bad hand because everybody's dealt with a bad hand. Sorry, when you're the coach of the New York Jets, you lost. You know, there's a reason why they say just in the season. Sorry. So I'm not going to sit here and say, because of Todd Bowles' previous record coaching, that is a direct reflection of where the Bucs are. No, not at all. Not even close. This team is way too talented. In fact, they're probably the most talented team in the NFC besides the Super Bowl champion LA Rams. And I think the Rams, in my opinion, have taken a step back. I think the Bucs are in the driver's seat. I do. What do you guys think? 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Dave. Yes, I'm getting texts from my family right now. Yes, I'm live on air, Aunt Tammy. Thank you very much for the text. Appreciate it. Dave says, Bowles will be fine as a coach. BA's influence will still be around the team. Bowles had a bad shake with the New York Jets. Bad GM making bad picks, not listening to Bowles, who is wanted. Exactly. I mean, yes, you lose BA as your head coach, but he still goes into the front office, and he still has an eye for talent. And he's done a remarkable job ever since he's came to Tampa Bay. He does. He absolutely has. So give him the credit. Bringing a Super Bowl here. Let's go out to Reginald. Harry Berg, this is zero to do with running the ball. Leftwich and Brady ran the offense. That's what I kind of think too, to a certain degree. But again, it comes back down to this, right? I mean, if you don't have confidence in a Ronald Jones, which obviously they didn't, right? Because he can't pick up the pass protection, and you have multiple injuries to your running backs, and you're on guys like Le'Veon Bell and Keyshawn Vaughn. Can you really run the ball? I mean, I get it. It's nice to say, but at the end of the day, the NFL is a passing league. Now, that's not to say you can't be more balanced in situations, right? So I get what everybody's saying with BA's offense, that now that changes. Does it? Does it change? You have Tom Brady. We know he likes to run. He likes to throw the ball all over the parking lot. The uncertain situation is, Chris Godwin, is he going to come back 100% healthy? We shall see. Coming off a torn ACL, right? But you still have Mike Evans there. You got Russell Gage in free agency. There may be other weapons that you pick up in the process, right? We heard this 2 weeks ago that Brady was recruiting a Julio Jones. So we'll see how that works out. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they draft a wide receiver at 27. You know why? Because people say, well, they already got Evans and Godwin. You don't know if Godwin's going to come back 100% healthy. And look at all the wide receiving injuries that this team experienced last year. So why not go and invest in a wide receiver, either in free agency or number 27? Why not? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Roger Shoe. 7 to 10 creamsicle times, baby. And once again, your trolling times are over.
Shut up!
The left tackle from New England to protect Tom. They did get Shaq Lawson, the guard there. So most likely he's going to be your right guard. You have Aaron Stinney as your left guard. You also have Robert Hansey, who they drafted out of Notre Dame as a premium pick, who is very versatile. The Bucs love versatile offensive linemen. So people assume at 27 they're going to draft a guard. Not necessarily. They may feel like they have enough depth at that position. I don't think you can ever go wrong with drafting an offensive tackle or a defensive tackle, if you will. But that's where they may not go at this juncture. And we're still waiting for Dennis Phillips at this point. Let's go out. And there he is right there on the mark. We'll come back and read these comments in a moment. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and get his intro on as we got breaking news. Here we go. All right, the busiest weatherman out there. He's a sports broadcaster on the Sports Web Live on Amped Up Sports, The Hub, and I Love St. Pete. Mr. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. Welcome to the Evolution. And breaking news from Greg Allman, and nationally, BA has retired. Official announcement coming soon, going to the front office. Todd Bowles is the new head coach. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably one of two things going on here, right? There's going to be a ton of speculation. Is it going to be just because it was a health issue? Because he's 69 years old and he had his share of health issues in the past? Or, was it somebody, maybe number 12, wanted somebody else in there? I mean, there's going to be a lot of speculation about that. I don't know if we'll ever know the answer, but at the end of the day, Todd Bowles is now the new head coach. I guess the press conference, 1:00 tomorrow afternoon, I believe, right?
Yeah, I mean, I heard an official announcement was coming, but yeah, the press conference is at 1:00 tomorrow. So we'll try to go tomorrow night here on the Sports Web. We'll try to recap that press conference. But, somebody asked it. Harry said he feels like the offense may get better because they may run the ball. Where do you stand on that? Do you think it was BA and his influence, or do you think at the end of the day it was not only BA, but also Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady? Do you think the offense changes that much in your opinion?
Who's going to run the ball? Have they decided that yet? I mean, there's still so many.
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But, Lenny has been, he was up and down last season. He had injury problems. And I just think that at the end of the day, Tom Brady is going to run the offense like Tom Brady wants to run the offense. And I think anybody who thinks differently, come on. I mean, who knows what happened behind the scenes? I mean, who knows what led to this? Who knows what led to the unretirement? I mean, this is what the speculation is going to be. But I mean, do you think Brady put out an ultimatum and said, you know what, I'll come back if BA isn't the coach? Again, nobody's saying that, but people are thinking it. Certainly some people are thinking it. I don't think we'll ever have the answer, but at the end of the day, that offense is going to run as Tom Brady wants to run that offense. I mean, there's absolutely no question about that. I don't care who the head coach is. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter at this juncture. And, I wouldn't be surprised, and I said this before, with the wide receiving injuries that the Bucs have had over the years. We know Mike Evans and hamstrings, still consecutive 8,000-yard receiving seasons. Chris Godwin coming off a torn ACL. They add with Russell Gage. There's reports now that possibly Julio Jones could be in the mix. And I wouldn't be surprised if you can't get one of those in free agency, that maybe you invest one in the draft at 27. I still think this offense is going to go the way that Tom Brady wants it to go. And yes, Byron Leftwich is going to co-sign on it. But at the end of the day, when you have the greatest of all time, it's not really difficult to follow the plan, right? The Brady plan.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's what they will do. And honestly, that's probably, again, who knows? But if we're making speculation, which is what you do here, maybe that was part of the deal in him coming back. Maybe he made it very clear, this is what it's going to take for me to come back to the Bucs. Mm-hmm. And you have to make the assumption based on how it played out that he got exactly, and by the way, he should get exactly what he wants, because like you said, there's nobody else out there like him. Right. That man had a huge part in the Bucs winning the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And, there's already been talk. I mean, who was the sports broadcaster who came out and said the Bucs are the favorite to win it again this next year? And then there's the questions from some of the media saying, well, are you gonna try to get him more than a year? Are you gonna try to sign him to a longer contract, which I guess could help out in cap space as we get into this season? But bottom line, to answer your question is, look, he got what he wanted. He deserves what he got, and I just, now it'll be his team as it was before. I mean, BA, don't you feel that way? I mean, there was always that time where I just felt like, Bruce Arians was really trying to almost at times overshadow what Tom Brady was doing. Was he really coaching him up, or was he really doing something else? And I just think Brady had enough of it. I mean, that's just my opinion, but that's kind of the way I think it played out.
Absolutely. And again, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I tell you what, let's go out to this guy right here. He wants to get in on the conversation. Let's get his walk-up music on. Here we go. All right, Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports. You're on with yours truly, along with Denis Phillips of ABC Action News. You've already said it. You thought there was friction from the very get-go. Welcome to the evolution, my friend. How you doing tonight?
I'm not too bad. Thanks for taking my call. Dennis, how you doing this evening, sir?
Harry, how come I'm not seeing you? Why am I just hearing you?
Dinner over at the Grillsmith over in Countryside. I have my lovely
getting a little dinner. Okay.
He's right down the street from me, Dennis. That's crazy. He's the Countryside. That's awesome. Right. Yes, sir.
And I had to call in because I had to tell you, Dennis, I agree with you. I think these were preconditions. I honestly believe it is. Now, the Buccaneers are going to spin this any way they want.
Sure.
Okay. But where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay. Those stories that precipitated all this happening in, a couple of weeks ago and a couple of months ago that, Brady's ideas for the offensive game plan were being, ex-nayed by Bruce Arians, after him and Byron Leftwich were working for hours on it. Trust me, a lot of those stories were true. A lot of inside information said that. Now, do I know for sure that Tom Brady has anything to do with this? But why wouldn't he? I mean, Michael Jordan, the other GOAT, had what was his name? Doug Collins. He had him fired in Chicago.
Right.
I mean, and I know that Bruce Arians now is currently in the front office with the Buccaneers, but how else can they make this happen? I mean, I don't know. But I wanted to honestly say, Dennis, I think you hit the nail on the head.
Well, and I'll give you I have a question for you, Harry. I'm curious what everybody would think about this. When the Bucs won the Super Bowl, what percentage would you say was Tom Brady, and what percentage would you say was Bruce Arians in terms of who was more responsible for that team? And I realize it's a team effort. The defense, I've been saying this for the longest time, without the D playing the way it did in the playoffs, it wouldn't have happened anyway. But do you think that having Tom Brady on that team was the difference as opposed to having Bruce Arians on that team?
Well, without question, players play coach's coach, But with that being said, I don't think Bruce Arians was instrumental in that game, in my opinion, because he had the propensity of wanting to throw the football the entire season, including the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, you went to a defensive-minded game and you wanted to run the football, and Tom Brady didn't pass the ball for 200 yards. Okay, so no, I'm going to agree with you. I don't believe this is I think Bruce Arians had a lot to do with it, but as people know, I am not a BA fan. I'm not. I'm just not. I think he cast himself in a light in a very negative connotation. I don't think he carries himself well as a person. And I think he's just very much of a dictator, and it's going to be his way or the highway, period. And I think he's had some extraordinary players behind him to give him the success that he had. But by all means, do I think this was Bruce Arians more than Tom Brady? Not a chance, Dennis.
I agree, and that's why I think this played out the way it did. I think it's as simple as that.
Yep. And I think it comes back to, all the rumors that were out there. Let's get into this because we've talked about it before, Harry. But Dennis, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. This crazy rumor that was floated out there by Dan Arnold from NESN out of Boston saying that, Brady wants to go to Miami and all this. I mean,
hey, I'm hearing now. You remember when I said that was all hogwash?
Yeah.
I've got a little information here telling me there was some truth to that.
Well,
Okay, that's why I said where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm not ready to come out and tell you for sure, but I will tell you this: inside information has already said that was one of the reasons. That's why I kind of laid that little nugget. Jordan had one coach fired. Why couldn't the other go?
Well, Magic did the same thing with his coach. We've seen it before. We've seen LeBron get multiple coaches fired. We're on with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, along of 1252 Sports, Chicago, and of course, Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. The breaking news of the night, BA, Bruce Arians, has retired. He is now going to be in the Tampa Bay Buccaneer front office. Todd Bowles takes over from being a defensive coordinator to now being the head coach. Dennis, let me ask you this. Do you think there's any drop-off from now losing a BA? How much of a loss is that? Now you have Todd Bowles as a head coach. People will look at his record, 24-40, but it's really unfair because, the cards he was dealt with the Jets, nobody can succeed with the New York Jets.
Who's the Bucs quarterback again?
Right, Tom Brady. Exactly.
I just think that's it. I do. And we've said this the longest time. What if he gets hurt game 1, game 2, and he's out the rest of the year? Something like that happens. It's an entirely different situation. But as long as Tom Brady is your quarterback for your team, you have a legitimate chance to go deep into the playoffs. It's been proven year in and year in and year in again. So I just don't think in this particular case the coach really matters. It's just my opinion. I just don't.
Harry?
I left a comment on the sports web and Amped Up Sports, and it says, now the Buccaneers will definitely run the football. This is the best chance that they're going to have to make a Super Bowl run. This team is still intact.
Right.
They will pound the rock, and I promise you with those receivers that this team has, it's going to open up the passing game even more because you're not going to know which way to come from. Because I assure you one thing, every defensive-minded coach always has a running game. Dennis, have you ever seen a defensive-minded coach not have one?
No, you're right. It's a great point.
It's a great point. It's an absolutely great point. Yep. And on top of it, Todd Bowles being
and I'm going to go now, but I just want to leave everybody with this one nugget.
Yeah.
For the past 2 years, Peter, Dennis, how many times have I been standing on a soapbox and you, me, and Dennis were standing screaming at the top of our lungs, run the football!
Yep. Well, we'll see if they do it this year. To me, they're going to have to do it this year. And if they can do that this year and become that balanced offense like they were during that Super Bowl year, they become that much dangerous. Good stuff there. Harry,
thank you so much.
Professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Sports. Thanks a lot for the time as always, and we'll see you soon.
Love you guys. Dennis, have a great one, man. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right,
thanks, Harry. See you.
There from Harry the Greek. We're on with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. Want to read this comment right there. Blake, Bruce Tom coming back was a factor. Do you think Tom only came back knowing Bruce would be gone? What are your thoughts? I mean, again, it's just speculation, but we know that there was a meeting between the Glazers overseas and Tom Brady. And of course, the day after, then, basically he decided to come back. So I don't know. I've heard a lot of things here. At the end of the day, BA to me is somewhat of a loss because, and I look at this, it's not only about Tom Brady and the team this year, but, what happens with Kyle Trask? How much does that affect Kyle Trask? And you're looking at me right now and saying you didn't think Kyle Trask was the answer anyway. So, do you think they kind of change course there with Kyle Trask now that BA is retired?
How long have we been saying this? I mean, you know what, Kyle Trask. I mean, maybe he'll surprise, but we've been saying for years that out of college, the scouts were not impressed with his arm. He had just an average arm and was not a mobile quarterback. And in this day and age, that's not a recipe for success unless you're a Tom Brady. I mean, there's not a lot of true pocket quarterbacks out there who succeed, who don't have a ton of mobility and have just an average arm. I mean, we've been saying it from the beginning. So even though, for a period of time when the Bucs either thought that Brady was gone or hadn't resolved a situation to get him back, what else are they going to say? They got to say he's our guy. They got to, because if he is their guy, what's that going to be like for him when he knows that they don't even want him in there? So you got to go in and say, this is our man. But I mean, how many names were the Bucs associated with from Deshaun Watson, which, oh, by the way, we had talked a lot about that, now landing in Cleveland. I mean, even Baker Mayfield. I mean, there's been all these names of, Russell Wilson going to Seattle and Carson Wentz going to Washington. I'm sorry, going to Denver, and Carson Wentz going to Washington. I mean, their name was attached to everybody. Why? Because Kyle Trask at this point is not the guy. Maybe one day he will be, but I don't think anybody thought he was ready to take over the reins.
And that's what you've heard throughout this whole process, Dennis, is that the organization felt like Kyle wasn't ready yet, and that's why they were searching. And we heard the other day from BA and Jason Light that, especially BA coming out and talking to Steve Weish of NFL Network, that they were uncovering stones and they were trying to look for replacements because they did not think that Tom Brady was going to come back, and he surprised them. But BA has been fierce in his denials, saying, there was no friction. There's no friction at all. Tell you what, let's keep on going back out to who knows? I mean, honestly, I love to be a fly on that wall at the end of the day. Let's go out to Richard. I'm glad BA is staying with the team in the front office so we can make sure Bulls doesn't F this up like the New York Jets. And again, a lot of people, look at that 24-40 record. I think it's unfair because mostly every coach, Dennis, that coaches the New York Jets doesn't necessarily get a fair shake. The organization is just absolute dumpster fire at the end of the day. A lot of people mentioning too, when he's the head coach, it's totally different from being a defensive coordinator. So you would expect the Bucs and Todd Bowles to hire a defensive coordinator, right?
Interesting question. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there are some coaches that run the offense or the defense, and it does happen. I don't know. The Bucs defense last year, it was injuries that destroyed that team.
Correct.
I mean, that was the same defense. We all know. Remember last year, they re-signed everybody. That was the same defense that rose to the occasion in the playoffs, shutting down Drew Brees, shutting down Aaron Rodgers, and allowing what wasn't an extraordinary performance by the offense in the playoffs to win. And we figured, all right, well, they're going to be just as good, if not better, the next year. Injuries really, really took a toll on that team. And I know everybody's got injuries, but it'll be interesting to see if they step back into, well, they're not going to have the same defense. I mean, we all know that, but
right.
I would not be shocked if he handles dual duties, although that doesn't seem to be the way things play out these days. Usually head coaches are just head coaches, but there's certainly been many, many times where head coaches have run either the defense or the offense in the past.
I wonder, and I've heard this name thrown out there, Larry Foote. I mean, he's on this staff. I tell you what, let's get back to that. Let's go ahead and go out to the phone lines here. Somebody does want to talk to you. Ron, welcome back to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. What do you have to say, my friend?
Hey, Pete.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Dennis, how you doing?
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm good. Hey, this is an interesting show, man, and I think just because we're hearing what Dennis has to say, and it could be true. I mean, I know you're pointing out, Pete, this is speculatory at this
Hold
point.
on,
And
let me go ahead and break some more news here. According to Adam Schefter of ESPN, Todd Bowles is now getting a new, listen to this, 5-year head coaching contract, 5-year contract from Todd Bowles from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this is not a temporarily thing here. Todd Bowles is going to be the head coach, according to Adam Schefter, for the next 5 years. So how about that?
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was just saying the perspectives that Dennis shared and Harry shared. I'm interested to know. I actually asked Harry.
Sure.
But off, on the side, like, what does he mean that about Bruce not carrying himself very well?
Sure.
I can't say I agree with that, man. I mean, I think Bruce is just a very straight shooter. He's old fashioned, and he comes from the age of football where, like I said, no punches were pulled. You're going to get told that you're either going to put out, you're either going to perform, and you're either going to, and there's no excuses. And I mean, I just think people like that tend to not always stay in the good graces of people's opinions. But I mean, it is what it is. I fully would trust Bruce in his way. I mean, he's proven that he has winning formula. He comes from a pedigree of quarterback. The other thing I want to ask Dennis and Pete, obviously, you can give your perspective as well as we discuss this.
Absolutely.
So Dennis, what do you think about this, sir? So don't you think that when Tom Brady came here, I know you think a lot of this is predicated, the stuff that's going on with the team as far as decision making and things like that, and where there's, what's the term you were using, Pete? Where there's fire, there's smoke,
there's fire. Yes,
there's fire.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But here's my thing. I'd like to hear Dennis speak on it too.
Sure.
Don't you think Brady knew coming here though? He's been in football long enough. He knew that he was coming to. Probably spoke, and I don't think he would have came here if there was any flaw in personality, or do you think he very well could have come here and then saw events transpire that maybe changed his mind and how the offense was run and stuff like that? That's why I have a tough time putting these together. You know what I mean, Dennis? As far as there was friction between him and Brady because we didn't see any fall off of, and I don't know. I mean, it is very interesting, but I do think that you can't just have a great all-time quarterback. I mean, because without a team around him, the Bucs could not come close to doing what they did. I mean, now is a quarterback vital? Absolutely. A guy like Tom Brady, I mean, come on, give me a break. Of course it is. You have to have a winning quarterback. You have to have a quarterback that can run a balanced offense, that's smart, doesn't turn the ball over. And like I've told Pete in the past, people thrive off of a guy like Tom Brady, his fire. He brings out the best, and people around him. So we know that. That's why, man, I don't know. This is very interesting, and I guess we could say what if and what could be until the cows come home. But
sure. I mean, it's
Brady coming.
All right, so we got. I
got a couple responses to them. I agree 100% in terms of Arians and school baseball. Mark, who is the same way, ran his team to the ground. He was always successful at the beginning.
All right, we're losing here, Dennis. Hold on a second. Yeah, we're losing you. Hold on. Go ahead and come back in. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi or the weather or what's going on, but stand by, all right? Let me go ahead and remove him out of here. Let me see if we can get him back. He's frozen at this point. To that point, we heard the speculation during that Super Bowl year from, Tony Romo and other sources that there was friction and they were able to put it together. And then we heard the same thing last year. But remember, this is one of the top offenses. Let me see if I can get him back on here. Dennis, are you there? All right, let's see if we can get him on. And I don't think we got Dennis. So Dennis, come back on in. We'll get you back on in there. But remember, this is a team that won 13 games this year. This is one of the top offenses in the National Football League. All right, let's go back out to Dennis here. Dennis, go ahead and finish your thought process there on last question.
I wanted to bring up another thing. So, Tom mentioned, why did he come here? Well, that's an interesting question in itself, because there were certainly a lot of rumors and a lot of more smoke and fire that maybe he had been looking at the Dolphins before he was ever looking at the Bucs. I mean, we all know how that played out with the owner of the Dolphins. But at the end of the day, why did he come here? Because this team had superior wide receivers than what the New England Patriots had when Brady saw what was coming up over the next year or two. Just my opinion, right? That's what we're doing. We're sitting here talking about, nobody knows for sure. But, look at that receiving core. Look at the receiving core that this team had with Mike Evans and with Chris Godwin and with Gronk, who showed up, compared to what they had in New England, which was, mediocre at best, because Edelman was getting old and a lot of the younger guys hadn't gelled yet. And to me, this is just me, he went to what I believe was the best possibility to win a Super Bowl. I
don't know what's.
That's enough to get you there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I guess we lost you there for a minute. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi on your end tonight, Dennis. I don't know what is going on, but we'll try to figure this out. You still with me, Dennis? All right,
I'm
still
here.
there? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. All right, I'll tell you what, Dennis, we'll go ahead and come back in. Ron, you still there? Okay, Ron's
yes,
not.
Sir.
All right, Ron, I tell you what, we'll go ahead and let you go. Thanks a lot for the question. Appreciate you as always. Let's go out to Yaj. Yaj, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly here. Breaking news of the night. Bruce Arians has retired. He's in the front office now. Your new head coach. And now, according to Adam Schefter, Todd Bowles has a new 5-year contract. Your thoughts? Welcome to the Sports Web.
Hey, what's going on, Pete? It's Yaj.
What's going on, Yaj? How you doing, bud?
Not much. It's pretty interesting what's going on with this transaction tonight. But I was wondering, do you think it has anything to do with the Rooney rule that just came out also?
Yeah, I don't know. That's another great question. I don't know. I don't know if you get a draft pick for it. I don't know what it has to do with, honestly. I mean, all we heard is that, BA wanted to come back. He was looking forward to having Tom Brady back for another year, trying to get that Super Bowl. And, it necessarily hasn't, it hasn't transpired, I guess. I guess it wasn't in the cards. And I don't know if it's health. I would assume it's health with his age. I mean, he's 69, 70 years old. So you would think that there's some part of it, but I just don't know. This is a shocker to me. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, it is a shock that he left, given the fact that we did get Brady back and the way that the offense is going to be ran next year. It's kind of shocked that he would just leave after, he was, we want Brady back. We want all the guys back. We want to do another, a reload, not rebuild, a reload. So that you say all that and you leave, it's kind of like, okay, where did it come from? But then you said health, and it does make sense, with all the injuries that he had himself, with his mother getting up there in age too. He probably wanted to be there with her a little bit more, who knows?
Sure.
Who knows? But under Todd Bowles, we can't hold him what he did in Jersey. Yeah. You can't hold that against him.
Yeah.
That team had nothing.
Well, I agree. I mean, and people are looking at that record, and I'm saying, the same thing. And I love Todd Bowles as a defensive coordinator. Do I think that the call against the Rams was tough? Yeah, it's a tough call. Yep. But you know what? That defense had lots of injuries last year. So I'm not ready to say the defense took a step back. In fact, I think the defense got better even without a Jordan Whitehead. You just got to be able to be healthy at that point. You've got to see what's the future holds. Is Sue going to come back here? Is JPP going to come back now? How does that change? If it changes anything, does that become one of the number one needs at this point at 27? Do you draft a defensive tackle? I mean, where do you go? Let me get out to Dennis Phillips again here, Yaj. Dennis, are you there? Dennis, there we are.
I think I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. Yaj is on the phone. You got Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News coming in and out here. I don't know if it's the weather or what's going on.
It's not the weather. I don't know.
I don't
weather's
know.
going to be bad tomorrow night. The weather's going to be bad, but not tonight.
Okay. Not tonight. Well, that's good. And see, you get a chance to join us for this breaking news. I mean, Yaj, what's your question? Do you have a question for Dennis?
I mean, as a fan, let's step away as being a fan. So let's talk as somebody who understands the game and understands the business of football.
Right.
All right. Do you honestly think it was something that had to do with, i.e., money wise? Or was it something that, okay, we know we can get more with the new breaking Rooney Rule that came out?
The Rooney Rule that just came out. I don't know if the Bucs will get a draft pick for hiring a Todd Bowles, but it's an interesting point. He was already on the staff. I mean, what do you say, Dennis?
I don't think money has anything to do with. Am I out again?
Yeah, you're just coming in and out. I don't know what the deal is tonight. It's all, I don't know. It's not good.
Sorry, man.
Go ahead.
I said, sorry, man. I don't think money had anything to do with any of this. I just think at the end of the day, the Bucs had a chance to get Tom Brady back. That easy. And they did what they needed to do to get Tom Brady back. Because look at the Super Bowl. I mean, the fact that the Lightning have succeeded and the Rays are succeeding as well. But, I mean, it completely changed the culture of this football team. And that was not Bruce Arians that did it. I would argue that might not even be winning. That was Tom Brady being here. Now, winning the Super Bowl obviously was the biggest thing. I don't think there was another quarterback. Here's any other quarterback in the NFL last year that you feel if you had put on that team 2 years ago that Bucs would have won the Super Bowl. Again, we all agree the defense was really a more important part than a lot of people are giving them credit for. But I don't know. At the end of the day, to me, the Bucs had a chance to get Tom Brady back. Look, in that business and in my business and in a lot of businesses, if somebody is very well respected and they really want to have somebody, that place will move the earth and move to get that person there. If they really feel that, and at the end, and relation. But if Tom Brady said, well, I want this and this and this, whatever those and this were, I believe, in my opinion, the Bucs would have done anything they could. Management would have done anything they could. Ownership would have done anything they could to keep him on that team. And I think that's what happened. And I think that's why he's back. I mean, is it just coincidental that Bruce all of a sudden just retired out of the blue? It could be. But boy, as you said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Man, there's a lot of smoke out there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of smoke. I'll tell you what, Dennis, I don't know what's going on with your Wi-Fi tonight, but I will let you go. We appreciate the time, my friend. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. And if you want to chime in, call in.
That's good.
But again, thanks a lot, my friend. Appreciate you as always. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. Yaj, go ahead and finish your point, and then we'll get out to Leo Haggerty here, my friend.
No, you hit every nail on it. It was just like, it's just straight up, we don't know.
I mean,
is
it possible? I mean, yeah. I mean, we've heard the rumors. I would hate to think that there was friction, but to sit here and say this, and we've talked about this before, Yaj. There's friction between what we heard. The reason why Brady left New England in the first place is because there was friction between him and Belichick. And you would expect that from Brady because he's a taskmaster. He's the greatest of all time. He has that competitive fire. So could there have been some disagreements? Absolutely. There's disagreements between coaches and players. One coach that comes to mind, and I just watched a documentary on it, Joe Montana and Bill Walsh, they had disagreements. Phil Simms and Bill Parcells, they had disagreements. So, to me, it's not something that I'm going to sit here and discount, but to say that's the only reason, I don't know. It's coincidental. Yes, if I can talk. Good stuff, Yaj. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and give you the Byron Leftwich.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Let me give you the woo. Anything else, my friend, you want to say here on the Sports Web?
Pete, you already know. Keep it up. You're always doing a great job and keeping us informed. And like always, bring your passion, bring your excitement, but don't bring any nonsense.
Yeah, baby. That's what I like. I like it a lot. Thanks a lot, Yaj. Definitely use that second call to call back. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff there. Travis Faley, let me go out to him really quick, and then we'll get out to Leo Haggerty. Stand by. Let me get out to this guy because I know he has some thoughts. I know, Harry, you have some thoughts. What a crazy night here. Travis Faley of Rocket Sports and Entertainment, or Around the NFL Insider here on the Evolution Live on Amped Up Sports, The Hub, and I Love St. Pete. Your thoughts on this breaking news that just happened, I would say about 30 minutes ago. BA retires, goes into the front office. Todd Bowles is the new head coach, and according to Adam Schefter of ESPN, a new 5-year contract.
Wow, 5-year contract. I didn't hear that, Pete. But I have to say that the writing was a little bit on the wall with Todd Bowles staying.
Right.
You know, in the off season, you know, he had some opportunities for coaching jobs out there, and I think he knew that maybe there was a little bit out there inside Buccaneer heaven, or one buck place.
Sure.
Well, Buccaneer heaven for fans like you, and for media guys like me, it's $1 place. So I'd have to say,
shut up and be quiet. But and people, and I talked to Leo, and I tell you what, let me go ahead and bring on Leo Haggerty because he's.
I don't want to talk to Leo. I'm going to lose in a minute, so hold tight with Leo.
Okay.
But I have to tell you because I'm going to lose you up on the bridge, and I don't want to be that losing guy because I have good internet.
Because we had Dennis Phillips on, and we were losing him. Okay, all right.
I have good internet right now, so give me a second here.
Okay.
Pete, but I think it's great because it provides consistency within the organization. And, you got one more shot with this thing with Brady, maybe two, and to keep that defense consistent. And, I think it's a really good thing that they were able to keep Bowles in the offseason. And I think it's going to be pretty fantastic. Kellen Moore will take a little. I say Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore's not on
Byron Leftwich.
Team.
That's
Byron
all right.
Leftwich. Thank you. I gotta get a little crazy, Pete. Get a little crazy. Just up the office, go crazy with this news that's going on. And I didn't
How about them Bucks, baby?
To the Radio Wolves, my friend, like you did. But I'll take it. But I think it's fantastic for Byron Leftwich and for Todd Bowles and for this Buccaneers organization and fans once again, like you, like me, and for the whole community. So I think it's a positive. And, if you look at BA on the sidelines, it looked like that times that, he's looking a little rough, and you got to do what's best for your health. That's the number one thing. And I think throughout the past couple of years, I think everybody actually realizes that. Not only me, not only you, but especially the legend, Leo Haggerty, that I'm sure you're bringing on. So
yes.
Tell the boys I said hi. We got to get on and talk a little bit more of this Lightning hockey because the Lightning are turning it around, and we saw it last year, but I know it's Buccaneers news time. But next time you're on, I want to come on and talk a little bit more about this fantastic Lightning hockey team and the U.S. men's national team who are finally going to go back to the World Cup.
Hey,
you got it, baby.
You're my brother. You're always welcome here on the Evolution. This guy started out with me on a radio station in a galaxy far, far away. We've been doing this for so many years, so you're always welcome here on the Sports Web live on the Hub.
You know when I'm on, Pete, it's not the evolution. It's the revolution of sports talk radio. And with that, I will leave you.
All right. Appreciate it. Good stuff there. Let me give you the Byron Leftwich.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Appreciate it as always. I will get back to the comments in a moment. I'm not neglecting you. It's just been a crazy situation getting text message after text message. I'm on live right now. We went live earlier than everybody else. That's okay. That's what we do here on the Evolution. Once again, thanks to Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. His internet tonight was not cooperating, but I tell you what, this guy's internet is cooperating. In fact, he's been going live more than I'm going. I got to keep up with him. Here we go. Coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports, Mr. Leo Haggerty. Your thoughts on this breaking news coming down tonight? Bruce Arians retired into the front office. Todd Bowles, the new head coach, along with a 5-year contract. Welcome to the Sports Web, my friend.
Wow. Where are we going tonight? Wow.
Right.
It's amazing. The Bucks made it official I was getting some texts saying that the Bucks made it official at 8:39.
Okay.
Where Bruce Arians was now going to become a senior football consultant working with Jason Light, and Todd Bowles would be the new head coach. So we have a peaceful transition of power, so to speak. So we'll see what happens now. But Peter, I didn't see this coming.
No.
I don't know if I don't think anybody did, but I truly believe that there's a health issue involved, which is terrible to say. But again, there's so many different scenarios, SAT word, out there tonight in terms of, okay, Arians' health. Did Brady just throw him under the bus and say, hey, I don't come back and Bruce is still here? We don't know. And we'll never know. But I don't know if because of the Rooney Rule that they had two African-American coaches that could step right in, and they took the one that has the head coaching experience, and boom, it should be a semi-seamless transition.
Wow, say that 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a seamless one, because now who's going to be the defensive coordinator? Who's going to take the biggest mistake Todd Bowles can make now is try to be the defensive coordinator and the head coach. Can't do it. You can't do both. And again, if you were calling plays on offense like John Gruden did, or like some of these guys do on offense, that's a whole different animal. But defense, you got to figure out, okay, what's going on? What do we got to do? You can't be divided with your attention span. So I got a feeling we're going to see probably the Bucs promote from within someone who they feel is very close to Todd Bowles. I don't think they'll open it up, perfectly honest.
Do you think it's Larry Foote? I mean, Larry Foote has been talked about on this staff, right? I mean, does that seem like, the guy that...
Logical choice, Peter. Logical choice. I taught you well, Grasshopper.
You did. And look, not only does this guy know his sports and he always learns something different, but the guy knows how to eat. But, I learn from this guy every day that I'm around him and going out to events and getting credentialed and being, at this point, credentialed media. I'm learning every day. I think that is the logical choice at this point. And to me, that could be a good transition. With that being said, Leo, how much of a loss BA, the coach, is to this franchise? Again, everybody says they got Tom Brady and everything like that, but still, BA is a player's coach. He has an offensive system. He has an attitude. I mean, coach of the year, 2-time coach of the year. How much of a loss is it to this coaching staff to miss a BA?
It's a loss to the coaching staff, Peter, but it's not, again, right now, a head football coach in National Football League is an organizer. He's a manipulator. He's not out coaching a unit. He's going out, and we've seen this with BA so many times, gets in the golf cart, goes place to place to make sure. The most important thing is to make sure you coach the coaches, to make sure they're getting your ideas onto the team and fine. His job is basically, he's like a conciliatory. He's like someone who's going to sit there and be the ambassador. He is the face of the franchise when it comes to ownership. When they talk to BA. It's simple. Now we're going to see, because Todd Bowles has done this before, which is good. But again, it's a big hole, because now Todd Bowles is going to do things differently than BA. That's just the way of the world. You're not going to be a clone. So we're going to see he'll do things better in some areas. He'll do things worse in some areas. That's just the nature of the beast. So
all right,
we got to figure out what's going on, who's the new defensive coordinator, and for God's sakes, how to find money to sign Sue.
Right, and I agree with you on that. Let me go out to Greg Allman's Twitter here. This is Tom Brady in his statement. Thank you, BA, for all that you have done for me and our team. You are an incredible man and a coach. It was a privilege to play for you. You are a true NFL legend and pioneer for all the work you have done to make the league more diverse and inclusive. Smart, tough, and loyal are a few of the words to describe your style. We'll always remember the conversations we had when you recruited me 2 years ago, and all the things we discussed came true 100%. We all benefited from your leadership and guidance, and I'm so proud of everything we accomplished. You are a huge part of the decision to join the Bucs, and I'm forever grateful. I'm so happy you will spend the much-deserved time with your loving and supportive family that has given so much to our communities. Congratulations on an amazing coaching career, but more importantly, how you positively impacted me and everyone else in the game of football. Leo Haggerty, that certainly doesn't sound like a lot of friction to me. That sounds like a coach, the greatest of all time, saying, hey, coach, we're definitely going to miss you. I mean, I don't know.
Peter, all that does is lay more credence to a health issue. And again, BA was happy. And again, I said in the beginning when the COVID thing struck, and I had a chance to say, coach, the person who's the most susceptible to this is you. You're a cancer survivor. You're in your late 60s. I said, what is Christine telling you to do, which is his wife? Right. I got a feeling maybe they just had to sit down and say, hey, I may not have that much longer to be with this. Let's spend some family time. Let's go do some things. Let's take a little bit off my plate, because you'd be a senior consultant in Tahiti, in Maui, in Hawaii, in the Bahamas on a cruise. Boy, I tell you, the internet works in strange places, doesn't it, Peter?
Oh, it does. And
except at Dennis Phillips' house. I don't know. That was tough tonight.
He's in the studio. We never usually have problems with the internet. And I kept on saying it's weather. He's like, no, it's not the weather. I'm telling you, it's not the weather. This also from Greg Allman. And once again, we got to get this man on here because I love Greg Allman. And I don't care what anybody says. I love Rick Stroud because they always have the correct information you need to go to. Greg says, my understanding is that the Bucs had checked with the league to make sure they were in compliance with the Rooney Rule in directly promoting Todd Bowles without an interview process. And then they were given the timing of today's move much later than the normal hiring cycle. So there you go. Todd Bowles, of course, now being the head coach, 5-year contract, according to Adam Schefter. That just came out about 15 minutes ago. What does he bring to the table? Is it unfair to look at his record overall, 24-40? The deck was stacked against him when you're the coach of the New York Jets. Now you have a very talented team here in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fans should give him a chance, right?
Oh God, yes. I mean, let's be honest. Peter, he went from Hosanna, Hosanna to crucify him in one game, on one play, on one call, which wasn't communicated to a bunch of people, and they blew a coverage. And you know what? That's not on Todd Bowles. He made the call. They just didn't communicate, and they just didn't execute it. And again, that's part of football. That's what happens. Todd Bowles, he had to go against New England twice a year up in with the Jets. So, give the guy a chance. Let's see what he can do here. He's earned it. He's paid his dues. He came back, and credit to BA. Yeah. He has 2 African-American coordinators. Name me any other team that has that.
Well, and I tell you what, we also got some confirmation because this is correct, and this was you'll put out there by Christopher Cole. Greg says no word yet on who takes over as the Bucs defensive coordinator, but according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, it said it's likely to be shared by defensive line coach Casey Rogers and inside linebackers coach Larry Foote. Your
surprise,
thoughts?
Surprise.
There you go. There you go.
Peter, I never liked the idea of sharing. I mean, somebody's got to wear the hat. That's just me. Right. It's like, somebody's the passing game coordinator, somebody's a running game coordinator. Well, what are you doing? That's fine. Who's calling the shot? And that's what's going to be. Who's the one that's going to call the shot? So I think they may be a shared idea until we get to August. And then all of a sudden, okay, here we go. Because who's going to make the call? I mean, are we going to rotate? Okay, you're down, my down, you're down. That never works.
Right.
So again, it's just let's see how this plays out, and let's get some time to actually see what's going to happen tomorrow, because there's no telling what's going on now, Peter.
Well, I'll tell you right now, and when I heard the news, I kept on getting text messages, and I'm like, what is going on? And it was first Ron, and then it was somebody else, and they're saying breaking news again. And I looked, and, again, I go to Greg Allman on this, and I see, sure enough, now this is BA's statement. I've spent most of the last 50 years of my life on the sidelines as a football coach in one form or another. Today, I made the decision to move from the sidelines into another role with the Buccaneer front office, assisting Jason Light and his staff. I love football. I love the relationships, the strategy, the competition, everything. It has been one hell of a ride, but I know this is the right time for me to make this transition. So why now? The simple answer is that I accomplished more than I ever dreamed I could during an incredible coaching journey. Winning Super Bowl 55 at our home stadium with my mom and family in attendance was really the last item I wanted to check off the career bucket list for me. This is about more than just trying to add more wins to my coaching record. This time I'm in a much better place than I was 3 years ago due to Jason's great work and the Glazers' family commitment to winning. Before you start thinking this is about health, don't. This is the best I've felt in many years. I'm looking forward to helping this team continue winning through my new role. I want to focus on what I can give back to this incredible game that has provided so much for me and my family. I really began thinking about my personal transition plan earlier this offseason. I wanted to ensure when I walked away that Todd Bowles would have the best opportunity to succeed. So many head coaches come into situations where they're set up for failure, and I didn't want that for Todd. Tom's decision to come back along with Jason and his staff doing another great job of keeping the core of this team intact during free agency confirmed for me that it was the right time to pass the torch to Todd. I began conversations with Jason and the Glazer family a few weeks ago about a possible succession plan. Their understanding and support means the world to me. Todd is a great football coach, and I know he will do excellent things here with the Buccaneers. The coaching staff has been crucial to the success we have enjoyed here the past few seasons. Coaching is about teaching players, and this staff has some of the best teachers in the business. Professionally, I've been blessed to work for many great organizations. I'd like to thank Michael Bidwell for turning my dream of being an NFL head coach into reality in 2013, and I would especially like to acknowledge the entire Glazer family for bringing me to Tampa Bay in 2019 and providing all the support and vision a coach could ask for. None of this success would have been possible without their complete buy-in and backing. That is Bruce Arians and the reason right there. Your thoughts, lots to unpack there, but they were talking about this just a couple weeks ago. And look, I was under the impression, and maybe I was wrong about this, I jumped the gun, but I said this a couple of years ago. Bruce wouldn't go to the Glazers for a Byron Leftwich unless he thought he was really worth something. I thought he was going to be the next head coach, but what we come to find out is that it was Todd Bowles all along.
You know what, Peter? Here's where I think that this was a planned maneuver.
Okay.
Because if he'd have got out after the loss, now you got to go through the interview process, the hiring process. This was a perfect time to get out and guarantee that Todd Bowles was going to be the head coach. Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to go look around and try to find that right now, because that wasn't going to happen. So it was important. The timing was important. The words were important. Again, Peter, I'm not buying the health thing yet.
Right. Right.
Yet. Because I just think there was a possibility of that happening because, think about it. The guy had a heart attack.
Sure.
And, he's had to wear a heart monitor in certain places. So, yeah, it's it's connecting the dots. And it's what we do. We connect the dots.
That's
and
it.
Right now, there's a couple dots that we can't connect. And that's the thing about the media. And we're going to find out some stuff tomorrow. I am going to try like heck to get to that 1:00 press conference tomorrow and have it up on Amped Up Sports. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, I tell you what, if you can live stream it, I'm not sure if the Bucs will allow it, but if you can live stream it, you know me, I'll be here for you here on the Sports Web, live on Amped Up Sports, the hub, and I love St. Pete. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about along with Leo Haggerty. Again, the breaking news of the night, in case you've been under a rock, as we have been on here for about an hour and 24 minutes, early time here, because we got on about 8:30, I believe, when the news broke. Bruce Arians is officially retired. He is moving to the front office of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In turn, Todd Bowles has been named the new head coach. According to Adam Schefter of ESPN, he also receives a 5-year contract. According to Ian Rappaport, Casey Rogers and Larry Foote will share the responsibilities of defensive coordinator. With that being said, you would have to say when BA came to this organization, of course, they're in a much better place, but now he goes into the front office. BA definitely has an eye for talent. A lot of people give credit to, Jason Light, but really they should be giving credit to BA because of that eye for talent, right?
It doesn't hurt, Peter. You've been around the game long enough. You know whether a guy can play or not. And that's the thing. Talk about the combine. Talk about this. Talk about it. It's 3 words. Can they play? Bottom line. That's it.
Sure.
And you look at it. I don't care if the guy's like Tyreek Hill, he's 3'6" and 120 pounds dripping wet. Can he play? If he can play, I'll find a place for him. And BA has adapted over the years to how the game has gone. And again, ain't easy to coach the GOAT. Let's be honest. And BA put it out right there. I can remember after the Chicago game when Brady lost track of downs, right? Call it what you want.
Sure.
BA said, our quarterback has to play better. Okay. He's not hiding. And he basically said, okay, it's you do good, I'll give you a cookie. You do bad, I'm gonna call you out.
Right.
Welcome to the world of football. And again, you know what, Peter? That saved the locker room. Because then it wasn't Brady's rules and everybody else's rules. I still like the manager for the Braves who said, I treat everybody fairly. I don't treat them the same, but I treat them fairly. That's all you want.
All right, I want to read some of these comments here because we've been neglecting the webheads here. Let's get out to them really quick. Let's see here. Let's go out. Where is your son, Troy? You are his daddy. Toilet bowls. Let's go. Right there deserves that.
Shut up!
Roger. Coming in a little over an hour, we'll have Mark Mancini, the madman, here talking about the breaking news and also WrestleMania weekend, which is crazy in itself. The way a person deals with adversity and the true measure of a man. Bowles didn't blow up the Jets. The team in front office were the culprits. Great comment, Salvatore. Thanks a lot for tuning into the Evolution. Frankie says, we will be great this year. What do you think of Rex Ryan for defensive coordinator? We have answered that question already. According to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, it will be shared by Casey Rogers and, of course, Larry Foote. Christopher Cole says, Bruce said it had nothing to do with help. We just read the comment. Thank you, Christopher. Light and BA built a team that will be great for a while. Roger says, Oompa. Lupa. Yeah, Lupa. That's how I am tonight. Evan says, I think Tom will now sign an extension. I think the extension is coming now that BA is gone.
Nope, no extension, Peter. That's not happening. He's a 1 year, and then he's going to make a decision from there. I think Brady wants to be able to make his own decision. He's going to honor his 1 year contract, and from there, he's going to look around and see what's the best for him. So don't look for an extension.
All right, Christopher Cole says Brady signs an extension. They will be okay. Christopher, again, Foote and Casey Rogers will be the co-defensive coordinator. Thank you, Mr. Christopher Cole. Peter, I think Tom signs an extension with the Bucs now that BA is gone. An extension is coming. We shall see. Bill Haydu, great job, guys. Heard the breaking news. Had to come and see what you said about it first. Way to go, Peter. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. Let me give you the Byron Leftwich.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Christopher Cole says it definitely could be because JCA reported that Foote and Casey Rogers were now shared the DC duties. Well, that was reported by Ian Rappaport, but we were supposed to have Joshua Cole Allen from Pewter Report on. Of course, I think he's busy right now. Brady got Bruce gone, says Roger Shue. I'm glad we chose Bowles over Leftwich. Bowles has more experience. I mean, again, he does have the experience. You're going to have a defensive coordinator. I mean, Harry mentioned this, and it's a great point. Even Dennis talked about this. We all assumed that Brady and Leftwich were running the offense. Do you think in some ways, because Todd Bowles is the defensive coordinator, going back a little bit, Lovie Smith was a defensive coordinator. We know, defensive-minded coaches, they like to run the ball and be balanced. Do you think the offense changes, or does it remain the same where Brady and Leftwich are at the controls, namely a Brady?
I don't think Bowles steps into the offensive room at all. Period.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be, and I can remember when John Gruden came in here, and he looked at Monty Kiffin and said, "See you in 4 months. You run the defense. I'll run the offense." I think that's exactly how that's going to happen, Peter. That Todd Bowles is going to be strictly dealing with the defense and dealing with the media and dealing with everything else, and Byron Leftwich will handle the offense. Period. End of story.
I agree with you on that, and I definitely think he can. And at the end of the day, I still think they're going to target a wide receiver either in free agency with the Julio Jones, because we heard this a couple weeks ago with the recruitment from Brady for a Jones, or they target that at number 27. And Bruce is in that front office with Jason Light, so they know what they're doing at 27. Either it's a defensive tackle at this juncture, and I still think, there was talk of Light still having conversations with the Sioux. Do you think that's the eventual the domino that will drop here? That Sue gets a new contract here, and basically that kind of solidifies your defensive line, or do you think he prices himself out?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of pricing himself out. I think it's a matter of trying to restructure contracts to have the money to do that. And again, Bruce Arians said to us on numerous occasions, Sue is the most double-team player in the NFL. That's over Aaron Donald. That's over everybody else. Yeah. Sue gets double teamed more than anybody else. You know what? How about this, Peter? You're double teaming Sue. Now you're playing 9 on 10, and your quarterback's got the ball, so it's 8 on 10. So you got 2 guys that are going to be unblocked. Yeah. I like those odds anytime.
I absolutely do. And we heard from BA at the combine what he kind of wanted. And, it's not usual for coaches to give away secrets, but he talked about it. He wants a defensive tackle that can get after it. They want to get more pressure on the quarterback. I think they could be moving on from a JPP. As much as I hate to say it, he's coming off an injury. We'll see if he comes back, if he comes back on a more of a discounted deal. But, they got Joe Tryon Shayanka. They want to see what the kid can do. He's got lots of potential. But even BA talked about it. He wants to get a defensive tackle that is going to somewhat complement a Vita Vea at the end of the day. He wants somebody not like a Vita Vea, but somebody to complement him and get after the quarterback.
And you know what, Peter? I'm going to give Ron Jaworski credit for this. He said the biggest thing you can do to take a quarterback out of his game and distract him is to get color in his face. And that's the one thing Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh does. They get color in the quarterback's face. And that's what you want. Again, there's going to be a defensive tackle out there. Is he going to be comparable to Suh? I got to see. Because, there's players out there. But I really like what Suh brings to this team, especially next to number 50. I think they're a tandem. Mm-hmm. They're a tandem that has to be reckoned with. And you're going to have to double team one or both of them. And that's what I like about it.
All right, I tell you what, let's go ahead and have 3 guys in here. Let's go out to this guy, Mr. J.C. Allen of Pewter Report, along with Mr. Leo Haggerty. Let's get him on here. A busy night, my friend. What do you make of all this breaking news? What's the latest? Welcome to the Evolution.
Wow.
Hey, listen, JC, you stole my line. I used that coming on.
The crazy offseason continues. Like, it just, first of all, anyone who's out there thinking that Tom Brady had anything to do with this decision and that from BA stepping down was a stipulation for him coming back, go somewhere right now, because that's couldn't be further from the truth. His health is good. He's not in a situation where his health is there's anything wrong with his health. It's just, and he said it himself. I mean, he felt it was time to step down. He didn't want to leave his staff in troublesome hands. Should something go awry, knock on wood, something happens with Brady or injuries or anything like that, and they decide, once he retires, to do an outside search for a different candidate by stepping down now and having Bowles take, the staff is going to remain in place. I mean, Bowles has been working with these guys. Maybe Bowles brings 1 or 2 of his guys in on the staff. Who knows? I don't think so. Or maybe if Byron gets a head coaching job next year. Maybe he brings a couple guys and Bowles can bring some people or whatever. But for the most part, the continuity of the staff isn't going to change. I mean, all these guys know their roles. They're working within their roles. And I think that it was more so about that. And, him feeling ready to step down, leave the team in good hands, and also leave his staff in good hands. I think he said it perfectly, speaking with, people that are very close to him. This is the way one of the ways he always envisioned going out, and he's going out the way he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, and we heard it from him, according to Greg Allman there, the comments from BA, Leo, that you look, he and JC, that he wanted Todd Bowles and they had a succession plan. And, it's a good transition process where BA is still involved with the organization. He's still involved with the day-to-day operations. It's just not as stressful as being a head coach. Now he's going to be the guy that goes into the front office. And like I mentioned to Leo here, JC, this organization is in a better place, not just because of Jason Light, but also because of BA and his eye for talent.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and not only that, just the culture. I mean, you look at the culture he started 2019, and obviously Brady came and just ramped that up. But, this is no longer the losingest franchise in American sports history. This is a team that is being talked about on a national level almost every week. And a lot of that is because of Tom Brady and the team that's assembled here and the job that him and Jason Light have done. And, I think going forward, he'll still be involved in. He's not going to just stay up and watch the practices from the big glass windows. He's going to be down there. He'll probably have a whistle on, and he'll probably, be cussing players out and being Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich. You got to remember the last 2 years, especially this past year, he was very, very hands off, and Bowles and Byron called the defense and the offense respectively. And he would put his input in there, obviously, as a head coach, but he trusts his guys. That's why he's got one of the biggest staffs in the league. He trusts his guys to prepare his guys for the game. And when they're in the game, to call the plays and put them in the right position to win. Doesn't always work. Sometimes, you have a defense coordinator that calls an all-out blitz against the best quarterback in the league to go against the blitz. Other times it does work. Sometimes he holds the best offense in the league to 9 points in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's been an approach that BA has taken, and letting his coordinators kind of run the show and putting his input here and there when, he feels like it's necessary. So, I mean, this team is set up. It looks like they're going to promote Larry Foote and Casey Rogers to the defensive coordinator position. So continuing more continuity there. We'll see.
Yeah.
Peter, let me jump in real quick, because I had lunch with Mike Schultze today, the communications director of not the Outback Bowl anymore, but the Tampa Bay Bowl.
Right.
And he brought up one point. He said, look, we're not looking to jump and get a new sponsor, because right now the Tampa Bay brand is the hottest in the nation. It's the hottest in the United States from a sports standpoint. You got the Bucks winning 1 Super Bowl, the Lightning 2 Stanley Cups, the Rays being to the World Series. You've got that here now. It's become the hottest housing market in the Southeast. You've got that now, and you've got weather, and you've got no state income tax. It is a completely, it's a branding genius. So yes, right now people are looking to come, and I think that had a lot to do with BA's stepping down, knowing, hey, we want to keep this, train moving and put Todd Bowles in a head coach. We may not miss a lot of beats.
Yeah, and tell you right now, JC, are you surprised by the length of the contract, 5-year deal for Todd Bowles? And does he get a bum rap for, of course, the coaching career with the New York Jets?
No, I mean, because with the Jets. I mean, as a coach, especially a minority coach, where there's so much focus on, if you get an opportunity to take a head coaching job, you take it, right? And it didn't work out for him there, but it wasn't, he didn't really have the personnel there either. So, I mean, I don't put the whole onus on him, and besides the Bucks aren't even going to have Brady this season. The real reason that, Brady forced BA to the front office so he could trade him to Miami. We all know that, right? So, no, but I think, I'm not surprised by I'm not, and I am, right? Because the Glazers know the type of person Bowles is. Bowles deserves a shot at the head coaching job. at a head coaching job, probably last year and this year. And now he's doing it in a place where he's familiar with the players, familiar with the ownership. And, I think the biggest thing in the NFL right now with head coaching is lack of continuity. They give these guys 1-2 seasons, and then they'll can them and then bring another coach in for 1-2 seasons, can them. Continuity, especially with this franchise, especially with the culture that's been built here. You want to keep that going as long as possible. And I think that this team is set up to win. I don't think that the Glazers have any inclination or thought process of going
SAT word.
Yeah, there we go. It's a Leo word. Not having a marquee guy at quarterback. They've gotten the taste of selling out stadiums, the merchandise, the national media, the attention, the Super Bowl. How do you go from that to experiencing that to saying, okay, yeah, let's roll with Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert? That's why I think they might have signed off on a Watson deal if it presented itself. But I think, that, depending on how long Brady plays, maybe they're back in the quarterback market again for a top tier guy. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Could that happen?
Peter, real quick. I got to jump off. I got to get on with Ozzy, the sports junkie, one of our friends. So
yes, we got to get him on here one of these days.
Absolutely. Hey, JC, good seeing you again. I'll see you tomorrow at $1 at $1.
Absolutely. See you there.
Take care, guys.
There you go. The legend himself, from a Coach Scouted Out media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. Leo Haggerty, thanks a lot for your time. As always, discovering right there how to go live. The guy is going live more than anybody else I know. He's trying to rival me here on Amped Up Sports. I'm your host, Peter Blake. We got JC Allen of Pewter Report. With that being said, a lot of people have said also that, BA leaving, now going into the front office. There has been some talk of him liking a Baker Mayfield. Is there a possibility that you think now, with him being in that front office and maybe the Browns letting him loose, that ball could keep on rolling where Baker Mayfield may be the next backup quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
No, I don't.
Okay.
For a few reasons. First of all, I was on with the Loose Cannons guys, and we were talking about this, and they brought up a good point that Baker's best year came in Freddie Kitchens' offense. So Freddie Kitchens is a disciple of Bruce Arians, but I just still don't think he fits what this offense looks for. He's not good at going through his progressions.
Right.
He's got accuracy issues. He struggles to find the open wide receiver a lot. And I just don't think you're going to bring in Baker Mayfield to be the backup this year for a multitude of reasons. First of all, you got to know what you have in Kyle Trask. And if they're non-committal on bringing Gabbert back before Brady came back, they were talking like Gabbert had already signed a deal. It's like, oh, we got Gabbert and Trask. And then Brady comes back, and now it's like, yeah, we're still evaluating Gabbert. And, I think they need to see what they have in Trask. I really do. And maybe Gabbert comes back or veteran. But again, the same. I mean, you bring in Baker, he's got to serve himself a huge humble pie, knowing he's not going to see the field, and he's only going to be seeing the practice field days that, and with the ones at least days that Brady has off, and maybe some scout team work. I don't, it's like he's got to humble himself severely, and then okay, you do sign him for one season, because you don't want to sign him for 2 seasons. What if Brady comes back next year? But you sign up for 1 season, and now does he decide to stick around? Does he want to go somewhere else? Like, there's so many different question marks, and plus it inhibits the ability to see what Trask has. You put a 2nd round pick in him, and you got to see if he's a backup, at least the very least backup quarterback quality. So
right. I mean, look, you got Trask there, and of course, BA was talking about him. A lot of stories have come out where the building has said he's not ready yet with him moving to the front office. Do you think now that could hurt a Trask? Because we know about BA and his propensity, Leo word, of working with quarterbacks in the past, a quarterback whisperer, namely a Peyton Manning, a Ben Roethlisberger, and Andrew Luck, guys like that. Does that hurt a Trask in his development for this Bucs team? Or once again, you still have Byron Leftwich, you still have this offensive system, and of course, you're going to be under Tom Brady for maybe another 1 or 2 years.
I don't know. Yeah, that's. Right? I mean, you don't know. There's really, there's no knowing. I mean, Byron Leftwich he could get a job next year. Brady could retire next year. Brady could come back. They could both come back. Byron Leftwich could leave. Brady could leave. I mean, Brady could come back. I mean, you really don't know what's going to happen. Does it keep these guys around longer? Does it make them want to stay? Does Bruce Arians have any effect on their decisions going forward? I really have no answers for that at this point.
Mark, I see you right there. We're going to have to hold off for just a moment here. We got JC Allen, a Pewter Report. Again, the breaking news of the night. Bruce Arians has retired as a head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is now going into the front office. In fact, let's go back to that statement here, JC. You'll be on with me. Once again, this is from Greg Auman of The Athletic, and BA had this to say: the simple answer is that I've accomplished, let me go back to the very beginning. I've spent most of the last 50 years of my life on the sidelines as a football coach in one form or another. Today, I have made a decision to move from the sidelines into another role with the Buccaneers front office, assisting Jason Light and his staff. I love football. I love the relationships, the strategy, the competition. Everything has been one hell of a ride, but I know this is the right time for me to make this transition. So why now? The simple answer is that I have accomplished more than I have ever dreamed I could during this incredible coaching journey. Winning Super Bowl 55 at our home stadium with my mom and family in attendance was really the last item I wanted to check off my career bucket list. For me, this is about more than just trying to add more wins to my coaching record. This time, I'm in a much better place than I was 3 years ago due to Jason's great work and the Glazers' family commitment to winning. Before you start thinking this is about my health, don't. This is the best I've felt in many years, and I'm looking forward to helping this team continue winning through my new role. I want to focus on when I can get back to this incredible game that has provided so much for me and my family. I really began thinking about my personal transition plan earlier this offseason. I wanted to ensure when I walked away that Todd Bowles would have the best opportunity to succeed. So many head coaches come into situations where they are set up for failure, and I didn't want that for Todd. Tom's decision to come back, along with Jason and his staff doing another great job of keeping the core of this team intact during free agency, confirmed for me that it was the right time to pass the torch to Todd. I began conversations with Jason and the Glazer family a few weeks ago about a possible succession plan, and their understanding and support mean the world to me. Todd is a great football coach, and I know he will do excellent things here with the Buccaneers. The coaching staff has been crucial to the success we have enjoyed here in the past few seasons. Coaching is about teaching players, and this staff has some of the best teachers in the business. Professionally, I have been blessed to work for many great organizations. I like to thank Michael Bidwell for turning my dream of being an NFL head coach into reality in 2013. I would especially like to acknowledge the entire Glazer family for bringing me to Tampa Bay in 2019 and providing all the support and vision a coach could ask for. None of this success would have been possible without their complete buy-in and backing. That is BA again from Greg Auman. We'll get out to Mark Mancini in just a moment here. Stand by. Of course, WrestleMania weekend coming, but this breaking news. Oh, yeah. I know he likes to say it. He's getting ready for it. He's getting fired up, but stand by. More questions here. We talked about Gronk. His agent has something different to say. Of course, I wouldn't expect Drew Rosenhaus to make it easy, but really, is this the next shoe to drop or the next domino to fall? Is it Gronkowski? Is it Sue? In your opinion, which one comes first?
I would think Gronk at this point.
Yep.
When Jason was talking at the owners' meeting, he was asked about Sue, and I don't want to say he danced around the question, but he said that there's other things, that will play into that, other variables. And I think part of that is the draft. I don't think they're in a rush to get anything, really done. Part of it too is, I think that, Sue he's been a mercenary. Let's call it what it is. Takes
Right.
1-year deals, and, he goes from place to place. And, while I think that Tampa is where he would want to go, where he'd want to stay, especially with, his guy, Todd Bowles, becoming the head coach. The thing about me is he's a businessman, right? We know that monetarily, is he going to be willing to take more of the $4 or $5 million the Bucs are probably offering, or is he looking at more of like that he wants to make $7, $8, $9 million at that point, which I don't know if the Bucs want to go to right now. the draft, as we know, is very weak at defensive line. Say they don't get a guy, maybe Devontae Wyatt, Travis Jones, one of those guys, Logan Hall, Boye Mafe, someone that can use inside, outside. They don't get one of those guys. Maybe they're willing to go back and revisit with Sue and, put some void years on there to spread that cap hit out or something. But I think as of right now, I think it's kind of a waiting game with him. And it's also a waiting game with Gronk. Gronk just says, hey, I'm ready. And, they're going to free up the space or make the space and re-sign him. Right. So, I think for Gronk, it's more about it's in his hands when he decides. For Sue, I think it's more depending on, okay, what can we do in the draft? And then if we need to pay that, or what can we do? What other players become available? I don't think Sue's in a hurry to sign anyways right now. And I think, they are having conversations back and forth. And I don't think that Sue would sign anywhere without being like, hey, I got an offer. What do you guys think? And again, I don't think he wants to go. I don't think he wants to go anywhere anyways.
No, I don't think he wants to go anywhere anyways, because you're playing with Tom Brady. And once again, this whole notion of Brady wanting to leave for Miami, wanting to leave for San Francisco. Why would you leave for those places right now? You have your core intact. You have an organization that is completely behind you, that has rolled out the red carpet ever since you came from New England. The same goes for Gronk. He knows, he's looking around. You have a Mike Evans. You have a Chris Godwin. We talked about wide receiver. I love White at that position, especially a defensive tackle. I think BA gave away something at the combine, and coaches usually don't do that. You want to pair somebody different than Avea. You want somebody to get after it. I think White can do that. The stats would not show that, but if you turn on the film, it would at Georgia. If they don't go in that direction, is there a possibility, if you don't get a Julio Jones or somebody else, that you go for a wide receiver at 27? Because there are so many on the board at that point. You could be looking at a Traylon Burks from Arkansas. You could be looking at a Chris Olave from Ohio State, Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. I mean, the list goes on and on. Dotson from Penn State, right?
Yeah, I think the first two names you mentioned there, Traylon Burks and Chris Olave, I think if they're there at 27, Wyatt's off the board, Zion Johnson's off the board. I think if those guys, one of those guys, I think they would consider really, hard and long about possibly making that decision there. They've had both of the guys are coming in for 30 visits. Top 30 visits. Another guy, Christian Watson, who they went to this pro day. A lot of teams are high on him. More of a early to mid second. So maybe you trade back for that guy. Alec Pierce is another guy from Cincinnati who could be a third, fourth round guy that they're interested in. You probably have to grab him in the third with 91 if he's still sitting there. So yeah, wide receiver is definitely a spot where they could consider too. Safety as well. Lewis Seen is another guy there. Maybe Jalen Petrie's been going anywhere from top of the second to, bottom of the second, early third. So maybe they want to grab him and secure that guy there. A couple strong safeties who have versatility to play a little bit of free safety. So, it's going to be interesting to what they do in the draft. They pretty much set themselves up to be able to go BPA. I know a lot of people look at that left, guard position and are like, but I think the Bucs are pretty comfortable with what they have there. I think Zion Johnson, if he was there, I mean, they would take a good hard look at him. But I also don't think that that's a run to the podium type of pick for them either. I think Wyatt would be kind of a run to the podium. I think Zion Johnson is let's take some phone calls. Maybe one of those wide receivers. Let's take some phone calls, see if we can get some good picks, because Jason has said that the meat of this draft is in the mid round. So second, third, fourth, that's where you're going to get a lot of good impact players, because the draft is deep at some of those positions as wide receiver, running back, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them move back either. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. And again, if Gronk is back, if Sue is back, both before the draft, then, you pretty much don't have any holes on this team except for maybe strong safety. So maybe Lewis Seen is a guy they look a little bit harder at. Maybe, Jalen Petrie, or, maybe they do look at wide receiver and say, hey, we got banged up last year. We had no Godwin. We had no Perriman. We had no Grayson. Tyler Johnson got hurt in that fourth quarter of that Rams game. We were down to Scotty Miller and Jalen Darden and obviously Mike Evans. But maybe they say, hey, we need some more competition for that fourth wide receiver. And they bring in one of those guys because, even if Gronk does retire, if he doesn't come back, then you're probably looking at more like 4 wide receiver sets than 3 wide receiver with a tight end and a running back. Maybe looking at more, some 4 wide receiver sets, and some, Gage has got the versatility to play inside and outside as well. So you could have him and Godwin both in the slot on both sides of the field and 2 outside guys. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah, and we kind of wonder, if this offense kind of changes dramatically. We heard from our buddy there, Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports. He believes the offense will be in better shape. He believes that BA had a lot of say in that offense, and what he means is, just throwing the ball all the time. Do you think with Todd Bowles being the coach and, of course, having Byron Leftwich and, of course, Tom Brady coming back, do they become more of a balanced attack because of Bowles and his defensive, pedigree, if you will?
I don't think Bowles is going to mess with anything. I think he's going to let Byron run the offense. I really do. I don't think the dynamic is going to change. I mean, he'll run the meetings and he'll do the breakdowns and he'll do this and that, but I don't think he's going to be like, all right, Byron, now that Bruce is gone, now that Bruce is upstairs, not gone, we can't do this. We got to run the ball more. We got to do this. We got to do that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's just going to say, all right, Byron, let me know what the deal is. And, we'll go over it at the end of the week before the matchup. And, if I think anything needs to be changed. But again, that's why good defensive coaches hire good offensive coaches to let them do the thing while they focus on the defense still, and also are able to, be that manager of both sides. And I mean, you look at this, say what you want about the special teams. Keith Armstrong, still a pretty good special teams coach. He's been doing it for years. You got Byron Leftwich over there who's been running the offense. Him and Tom are joined at the hip when it comes to that. I don't think Byron's going to mess with it that much at all. I think he's just going to say, Bowles going to mess with it. Just say, Byron, just do your thing, and obviously I don't think he'll have a huge say in it, but he might have ideas, but I don't think he's going to mess with it.
Yeah, I don't think he'll mess with it either. But, I think this offense is ran by Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady. Did BA have something to say about it? Of course he did. But, it'll be interesting to see how everything changes and plays out. I know you got to run here. It's been a busy night for you. Final thoughts here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. By the way, WrestleMania weekend, are you looking forward to it, brother?
Oh, hell yeah. Of course I am. I'm so excited for it. We have a team dinner on Friday, so I'm like, I couldn't do it on Thursday. SmackDown's on right before WrestleMania. So I'm gonna have to record it. But yeah, Saturday and Sunday, I told my son, he's canon. I'm like, you have to take naps Saturday and Sunday. He goes, why? He goes, I don't take naps. I'm like, well, because WrestleMania's gonna be on till 11, 12 o'clock, and the main event is Stone Cold. You don't want to fall asleep during that. So yeah, I mean, it's I'm excited for it. It's WrestleMania is great because it's literally a 4-day wrestling marathon. You've got SmackDown, WrestleMania, and Raw. So there's tons of stuff that's going to go on. So I'm excited. Excited to see Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Spoiler alert, hasn't been announced, but that's what it's going to be. So excited to see that as well. And I'm ready for it. Let's go. WrestleMania.
I'm ready for it too, and I'm wondering, Stone Cold being in the main event, is it a segment? Is it a match? We haven't seen
a little bit of both,
right?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it'll start with an interview.
I don't think you can do a match after Stone Cold has not been in the ring for 17 years.
Well, he's been up in his cardio, I've heard. So if I don't see a Luthi's press, a stunner, and some middle fingers, some beers, and him all up in KO's face, then I'm going to be heavily disappointed. I want to see at least those four things, or I'm pissed.
What you're saying, basically, it's a Goldberg match, 4 moves of doom. JC, thanks a lot for the time, as always, here on The Evolution. Go ahead and promote yourself. You guys do such a great job. I watch you guys every day. Scott Reynolds, John Ledger, great breakdown. And one of your other guys there said that the Bucks wouldn't even run in the right system. Go ahead and promote Pewter Report, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I'll promote myself at JCOnNFL.com on Twitter. Definitely go check my Twitter out. I've got so much stuff on there right now. My notifications is broken. So we've got a bunch of articles, obviously, about Bruce Arians coming out. Patrick Peterson also was, but he was talking to the Bucks too. So we've got an article breaking that down. But yeah, I mean, obviously we've got everything, going down with Bruce over there at pewterreport.com, Pewter Report on Twitter. Make sure you guys give us a follow on there. Give me a follow, and as always, Peter, it's great coming on here and chopping it up with you. Sorry, I've been so distracted. There's just so much going on. My phone won't stop. I feel like Adam Schefter right now.
I mean, I feel the same way because I don't want to miss something. And we have our great web heads here, and I don't want to neglect them. But Christopher Cole was saying, Casey Rogers, they made the move with Casey Rogers, Larry Foote. I was like, where'd he get that at? And then I looked on Twitter. As always, I'm doing the same thing. But as always welcome on the Evolution. You started on the Evolution, and we're going to keep on doing the sports web here live on Amped Up Sports, the hub, and I Love St. Pete. Thanks a lot for the time, and we'll see you soon, my friend. All right?
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you soon. There you go right there, Mr. JC Allen. I'll tell you what, we're going to go out to Mark Mancini, but I'm going to go take a break. I've been at this for 2 hours. I need a drink, not an alcoholic beverage, not that, just some water here. Let's hear from let's hear from the hub really quick because we're live there. We'll be back in a moment here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. We'll be back with the madman himself, Mark Mancini, XM Sirius Radio, and of course, Mancini Media. Keep it locked.
We want to hear your cleaning people, your contractors, your roofing companies. I mean, every industry out there, your masseuses, your salon. And we want to hear real experiences from real people. And one more thing, very, very important. We're not going to allow networking. When we say networking, I just want to be very specific on this. And people say, oh, well, you're kind of pushing people away. No, we're not, because there are specific network groups that post and tag people without ever utilizing their business. And we don't want that. We want real experiences.
You're not forced to recommend somebody simply because you're in the same group.
Right.
And that's what we want. And it's not just about business either.
Right.
It's about charity and giving. We want a local hub for events to help people.
We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Look for Hub ads on the radio. Look for the Hub bus on the Pasco County Public Transportation System. Look in Facebook and please share this, and let's grow this positive thinking, forward momentum community. We love you, Tampa Bay.
Join the hub and grow with us.
See you soon.
BetUS.com. If you guys are betting on the games, whether it's NFL, NCAA, of course, you're not going to do that now. Maybe basketball, not football. But, of course, the NHL, NBA, go to BetUS.com. You get a 125% sign-up bonus. And also, if you use this code right here, the promo code of TSW22, which, by the way, stands for the sports web, TSW22, or call that number 1-800-69-BET-US. Again, 1-800-69-BET-US, and put in that promo code TSW22, and I would really appreciate that.
I've had 27 beers spilled on me. Make that 28.
I've only got one place to go before the game.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS.com and get the best bonuses in the industry.
All right, welcome back to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I had to get my water. It's been about 2 hours straight here. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. More updates coming from Greg Auman of The Athletic here. There is no comp draft pick due to the Bucs for promoting Todd Bowles as the head coach. Those intended for teams that lose minority assistants to head coaching or GM jobs with other teams. And also, middle linebacker Devin White says, no better person, my guy, with the cowboy hat on. That would be Get Live 45, Mr. Devin White. His comments, really quick, we'll get out to Mark Mancini. Want to read the rest of these comments because I don't want to neglect you. And then we will take your phone calls. It is WrestleMania weekend. I didn't know this breaking news was going to happen, but we're going to get out to Mark Mancini in just a moment now. So let's keep on reading these comments. Thank you, Chris, for the update. Christopher Cole, they already did that. 2 defensive coordinators, absolutely. Sounds like, okay, well, you get this, Roger. It's a shared coordinator. Could really be Bowles still calling the actual shot? Great question. We all knew that it was BA's plans all along. Roger says, give me that Coach Leftwich, Bay. I'll give you that.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Let's go out to Richard. Is there a quarterback who's won Super Bowls with 3 different head coaches? Can Brady and the Bucks achieve that? Make more NFL history? Wouldn't that be something? Guess what? I'm ready to say it. It's going to happen. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl this year. And you know why? Because it's what number 12 said. Unfinished business. Put it down. I'm going to Vegas. I'm betting on it. Bucks are going to win the Super Bowl this year. How about that, Bay? All right. Starting quarterback, absolutely Roger Shue. Bears 2023, Bay. in your dreams, Bulls will have one winning season in the next 5 years, and this is what you get for that. Roger Shue says, Pete, why is everyone going to one Buck place tomorrow except you? You got to be there for us, bro. I got to be there for everybody. I got a job to do. It's called Policy Scout. Love you guys. Got to do the meetings in the morning. I got to get it done. So I got to go to work. But one of these days, I will be there. Trust me. I will be there. I will be in that building very soon. Just keep it locked here, okay? Trust me. There's a plan in place. Okay, Pete, got to go. Talk to you in the AM. Never ending. I'm back. Never mind. I'm still here, troll. Oops. I mean, take care of the trolls. Absolutely. You are the tribal troll. JC forgot Hall of Fame after SmackDown. Absolutely. We did not. Going to be Shane O'Mac versus Seth Rollins. That would be a disappointment if that's what's going to happen. Yash says, bring your passion. Alex says, this is stupid. Leftwich is a better coach. Sitton says, just wow. Ron says, Roger Shue, you're an idiot. Roger Shue, get lost. Let's be nice now. Roger is the tribal troll. We give him that opportunity there to say what he wants to say. Everybody has an opportunity to say what they want to say. Just be respectful of the others. At the end of the day, we're all friends. We'll all walk away as friends. And Yash says Brady will do the same as Manning, win the Super Bowl and ride off into the sunset. Let's go out to Roger again. Peter, you're high. Bucks will be 10-7, no Super Bowl. Let's make a bet on it. I bet that they will be in the Super Bowl and win. And you know why? Because I said that before my show, and guess what? It's happened. I know I said it last year, but I was only 42 seconds away from being right again. Okay? And I'm not afraid to make a prediction like that because I believe in what this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team is doing. I believe in what the Glazers are doing. I believe in Jason Light. I believe in BA, and I believe in Tom Brady and this whole Buccaneer offense and defense. They'll have their stuff together. Mark it down, baby. Much love and thanks to BA, but total confidence moving forward. And we got total confidence moving forward because we got the madman himself. And hold on, we got some more breaking news here coming down. So let's go ahead and get that. Before we go out to the madman here, this just in, Bruce Arians informed Tom Brady of his decision to retire shortly after Brady announced his return to the NFL. That is coming from former radio co-host in a radio station in a galaxy far, far away, Jenna Lane of ESPN. There you go. We will bring that passion because that's what we do on every given night. I told you when it goes live, we got breaking news. No matter if I have food in my mouth or I'm waking up out of a slumber, I got you covered. Platform or not, we go live when news breaks on the sports web, on the hub, on I Love St. Pete and Amped Up Sports. Am I amped up? You better believe I'm amped up. I'm Peter Blake giving you something to think about. Nee says, I absolutely love your show. Thank you very much. Let me fire those cannons. And let's go out to Mr. Roger. $100 bet on the Super Bowl. You got it. $100, my friend. Let's go out to the madman himself for WrestleMania week here. Mr. Madman Mark Mancini on Mancini Media, XM Sirius Radio, giving us the national perspective out there in LA. Your thoughts on this big-time breaking news involving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. BA retires. Todd Bowles takes over. Welcome to the Sports Web, my friend.
Well, you know I love you. This is the show that's sweeping the country, and what I need right now is Tampa, Florida, to acknowledge me.
I love it. I love it. You're going on.
Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely.
That's what I definitely need. But I will tell you this. Bruce Arians is a very smart man. He figured, you know what? I got to hop to the front office. If Tom Brady's coming back, I got to let go of that leash. And the Bucs are definitely better with Bowles running that organization. There is no competition in that division. I know I'll hear from my friends in Atlanta and Bird Lady and all those guys, but with Matt Ryan out of that division, Carolina's a trash team right there trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do. You got New Orleans trying to figure out their situation. Tampa's got a breeze, and Aaron Rodgers thinks he's got it easy. Tampa's definitely going to the Super Bowl. They're playing the Redskins in the championship, baby, in the NFC. Right. And on the other side.
On the other side.
Tampa comes in. They make a regular season run into Pittsburgh. That's going to be your preview of the Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield, the swag, is going to be in Pittsburgh. Mitch Trubisky is going to be backing him up. And Mason Rudolph is going to find another city to play in because he's going to be run out of the burg.
All right, I like it. I like it a lot. The Washington Commanders now, which is hard to say. Mr. Mancini, of course, former XPW announcer. It is WrestleMania weekend, but really quick here, give me your thoughts because we had some losses. We had a loss in a Scott Hall. How much did he mean to the wrestling business? You ever encountered a Scott Hall? Give me your impressions of Mr. Scott Hall and his life.
You know, bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
Love it.
Razor Ramon was a bad guy, man. I like the toothpick, the Cuban thing down there in Miami. Boy, he was something to watch. And, man, I'll tell you one thing. That was a shocker to say that, you know, we lost him, but we've been losing some of these key players that we kind of grew up with over the years. And, man, oh, man, the matches with Razor Ramon were something. I mean, I'll tell you, man, he just had the swag to take over a crowd.
How you really did. And I tell you right now, it always goes back for me. It's not the Razor Ramon gimmick. Of course, he got a lot of that. He developed that from Scarface and went and sold it at the time. You know, when he was starting first, everybody had the handlebar mustache and the cowboy boots. Everybody was trying to be, you know, Blackjack Mulligan or Dusty Rhodes at the time. And then he turned into that. But the thing I always remember is 96 when he comes out on Monday Night Nitro and everything changes and you're not sure if he is invading from WWE. It's an unbelievable gimmick. You have the storyline with the NWO. Talk about that moment for you as a wrestling fan. I get it, you're XPW, but you're watching this, you're seeing this develop, and at the time, there were no dirt sheets.
No, there wasn't. And when you see, you know, when he made his debut there, and then, you know, the whole, when I looked at the wrestling, that whole entourage of talents that came out, Psycho Sid, Ravishing Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Razor Ramon. We don't see that now moving forward with the WWE, even in AEW. I mean, you got a couple mainlighters there, but that whole era, man, there's just Bad News Brown. I mean, you know, it just, there's so many guys, you know, and that's what I miss. You know, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I mean, the list goes on. And even the managers. You had Slick. You know, Gorilla Monsoon was calling it. Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yes.
I mean, Jimmy the Mouth of the South. I mean, this is wrestling. And we've gone away from that in more ways than one, wouldn't you say?
I think we have, and I think you don't do enough character development. Of course, everybody still gets excited about WrestleMania. You know, it's kind of like Christmas for wrestling fans. Yeah, at the end of the day, and even Bobby the Brain Heenan said this, that, you know, the Iron Sheik one of these days is going to show up, and he said he will show up at WrestleMania 38. Consequently, WrestleMania 38 is on Saturday and Sunday night. Before we get to that, Triple H announces his retirement for the ring. Just paraphrasing, you know, he went through, you know, heart surgery and said, you know, his body, he looked at it from the perspective of his family life and how he could be gone, got very emotional. On top of that, he just felt like he didn't, there was nothing else to accomplish. So your thoughts on Triple H retiring from the ring? How much of a loss is that for the wrestling community overall?
Well, I think it is a big loss. I mean, you saw his debuts in the match against Batista and all that, and we've seen him against The Undertaker. But I think the best I can recall of, you know, Triple H, and, you know, I don't want to make this an obituary on him, but the Hunter Hearst Helmsley, that whole, when he first came out,
right,
that was the Triple H that I really liked. I mean, I know the Sledgehammer and everything came out later, and, you know, lining up with the faction, the DX, and with the tanks and all that. But man, oh man, the Hunter Hearst Helmsley that I loved was when he first came into the WWE. That was something.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And then, of course, he transitions. He never liked that gimmick at all. He liked of course, the Triple H, the cerebral assassin, as his nickname was given by Jim Ross. And, you know, he really had to go through it because Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, the Clique, the 1, 2, 3 Kid, they kind of used to run that locker room. And then, of course, they had that incident in Madison Square Garden where they broke kayfabe and they were all hugging. And most of all those wrestlers left for WCW. The only one who didn't was Triple H. And he went from a guy that they were pushing to try to get over, who was over with the crowd, to basically mid-card status. Talk about that a little bit.
Smart man. He hooked up with Stephanie McMahon. He said, you know what, everybody else can go. You know, I don't know where that thing is going to go, WCW and all that down there, but I'm gonna stay up here and marry his daughter and, you know, have a piece of the pie here. And smart man. And I'll tell you, when you looked at him, I mean, he's always thinking one step ahead. He kind of reminds me of Tom Brady in more ways than one. He's always looking at something before he jumps both feet in the pool. So congratulations to that. And, you know, he's kind of looking at his life now and saying, you know what, you know, my heart's not that good right now, and I don't want to chance anything.
Right, exactly. You're exactly right. We're on with the madman himself, Mr. Mark Mancini, Mancini Media, XM Sirius Radio, former XPW announcer here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. One of the best heels of all time, up there with Ric Flair and Harley Race, in your opinion, and of course, probably the best WrestleMania entrances of all time, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that had to be. You know, there's some that really stood out. How about when Andre the Giant came in when his entrance came in? And I think the best one is, and what I'm going to look at this weekend is The Undertaker going into the Hall of Fame. I mean, can you imagine this? Years and years of seeing the dead man. I would have loved, and this is the only regret of the whole thing, when Bray Wyatt was going through that whole transition and he kind of, you know, took Kane and The Undertaker. That would have been something to see those guys form a bond just before, The Undertaker hung it up. Wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people always talk about Undertaker. Of course, he's going into the Hall of Fame, being inducted by Vince McMahon. And, you know, that's not really a surprise because you watched the special that was on WWE, which the name escapes me now. Last Ride, I believe it's the Last Ride. Their relationship, you know, so close, almost like father and son. And you had nothing but respect for The Undertaker because he was a consummate professional, went about his business, never broke character, one of the most consistent wrestlers. And the craziest thing is, we're talking about Triple H and mean Mark Madsen. Mean Mark Madsen at the time was The Undertaker. WCW had both of these talents, and they weren't able to develop them. Oh, what could have been if WCW could develop them. But you're exactly right. The Undertaker, for me, it's always the dream match with Sting. I think WWE really missed out on that opportunity, especially with the Sting. We'll never know, of course, him being retired. Never say never, but I definitely think he's one of the first guys to be retired. And then going back to Triple H and his intros at WrestleMania, anytime you can come out with Motorhead, some motorcycles, and being the King of Kings, to me, you're up there as being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. You agree?
No, I definitely agree. And with Stone Cold, you know, coming through on Saturday, I think WWE would be very wise to make sure nobody leaves that arena. Make sure that's definitely the main event with Kevin Owens there, because, you know, they're trying to get him to do some more stuff after WrestleMania. He hasn't, you know, conceded to it yet, but boy, the beer cans and the whole 9 yards are getting in your face. I love Stone Cold.
I love Stone Cold too, but he hasn't been in the ring for 17 years. I mean, Mark, how do you book a match like this? I mean, is it 4 moves of doom? Is it give him the stunner? I mean, how do you not bury a Kevin Owens? How do you not take that momentum that he has right now as a heel? And how do you not just bury him?
Yeah, that's going to be the consensus here. I mean, you know, you look at, you say to yourself, I almost look at this as with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. You know, the consensus is you got to get Lesnar the belt, but the momentum going into the next year's WrestleMania in Los Angeles, it would be epic with The Rock going against Reigns.
Correct.
How do you take the belts away from Reigns and have him start over? I think you got to keep the momentum going with Owens, and I think you got to keep the momentum going with Reigns.
Well, the problem was if you give it to a part-timer like a Brock Lesnar, he's going to go. So I think the belt kind of loses value, although, the Raw show really doesn't agree because you have the Intercontinental guy losing, clean. I mean, that's the problem with WWE, in my opinion. We're on with Mark Mancini here. Well, we're talking about WrestleMania coming up. I mean, what are you most looking forward to? Everybody's saying Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. Is that how you see it? And how do you book that match, in your opinion?
Well, I know that's where it's going. A lot of people have said that, but you know what? Shane McMahon's going to be hanging around Dallas, Texas, starting Friday. So, Vince McMahon's picking Seth Rollins' opponent, and this is going to be interesting. It could be Shane. They wanted this in the beginning. Shane would be a full-fledged heel in this thing. This could be an interesting one. I still going to go with Shane McMahon going against Seth Rollins on this. The other interesting thing is the RK Bro one, do they continue to run with the titles? I mean, everybody was thinking this thing would fall apart, but Randy Orton's having fun with, Riddle here. So this can keep on going. I think the match that really isn't going to sway anybody is almost against Bobby Lashley here. That's one that I can do without. Wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, I agree with you on that because almost he's raw and he's just big. Mark, he doesn't really show anything to me that excites me. And Bobby Lashley, he's a good wrestler. Yeah, is he a technician? No, he's got power. I don't know. I think more than anything else, you got to book this match as, maybe like a 5 to 10 minute match, and then you got to get him off because almost is very raw, right?
Right. No, I totally agree. They had to work with him before. He's picked up a little skill set now, but still that, it doesn't move me. The other interesting one is the women. I think what we're going to have is Carmella turn against Vega there. That could be an interesting one. Those two will turn, I think. And if Sasha Banks and Naomi win this thing, got to keep your eyes on Sasha Banks, because she's been noted to turn on her opponent down the line, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then you also have, it looks like Bianca Belair, who's gone full heel. I mean, I thought Becky was the heel at this point, and she looks like more of a heel. Is that the wise thing to do? And do you finally put over a Belair? Because I didn't like the result when Becky came back. You had a squash match. You basically take all that momentum and you throw it away with a Belair. I feel like you got to put her over, whether she's a heel or a face or not. Is it wise to make her a heel at this juncture, in your opinion?
No, I don't, because I like Belair as her character, and she can get the crowd going. The one that's going to go heel on this is the Street Profits. They've been hitting on this for a while, and I can see that one going over. But another interesting match, and I'm going to call it here, is I think Logan Paul turns on The Miz.
Well, you never know what the Pauls are going to do. I'll be interested. I'm just saying, I'll be interested to see what the Pauls do either on Saturday or on Sunday. We're on with the madman himself, Mark Mancini. Of course, I'm the Rolex reporter. Yeah. Got the Rolex from Jake Paul. Still waiting for Mr. Jake Paul to be on the evolution of sports talk television.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I got a T-shirt that says "Cleveland sucks, steal the Pittsburgh lumber." I don't want to make sure I'm wearing that around Logan Paul if he's passing out those Rolexes.
Yeah, well, you don't want to wear it around Jake either, because he's a big-time Cleveland fan. Yeah. You're exactly right. What else are you looking forward to? I mean, my guy here, Roger Shue, big-time wrestling fan. Meet this guy here because he's been watching wrestling for a long time. He says Shane at Mania versus Seth Rollins, which I think is a mistake because, basically they fired Shane because of the booking that he had in Royal Rumble, and now you're bringing him back. Does anybody really want to see that match versus a Seth Rollins? I'd rather see a Cody Rhodes. I don't want to wait the night after WrestleMania. Is this a mistake if this happens? Shane versus Seth Rollins instead of Cody?
Well, and I know the problem here is we've watched wrestling long enough to kind of figure out where it's kind of going with this thing. But I was, kind of the consensus was that, Cody Rhodes and build it up, but we haven't really seen much of Cody Rhodes, and maybe we'll get him at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But the thing that's really the head scratcher here is Shane McMahon is coming in like Friday night there. So something is going to roll with Shane McMahon here. Maybe they've patched it up. You know, these McMahons, they kind of work some deals out. You saw the thing when he sat down with Seth Rollins there after we thought Seth wasn't going to WrestleMania by having an interference with Edge there. But, you know, that's another interesting match. I mean, now Edge has gone over the edge.
Right. Are you any interest at all? And I think that's the way you had to go, because if you're going to set this matchup, to me, AJ is a better face than the heel. Edge is a better heel than a face. Would we all agree with that?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree on that.
I like the rated R superstar when he's at that point. I'm interested to see that match. Any interest in seeing Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey at all?
Charlotte Flair is a beautiful lady to look at, man. I'll tell you that. And her interest is, you know, pretty much second to none. It's right up there. But, yeah, I think, you know, Charlotte kind of holds on to the belt maybe in some ways. You know, who knows? Or maybe they give it to, you know, Rousey. But I like to see Flair hold it. She's got great mic skills. And that's what I look at. You know, some of these wrestlers, Kevin Owens, great mic skills. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. You don't have a lot of these guys with great mic skills. Miz is another one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, if you're going to train creative characters and build their character up, make sure they have great mic skills to hold the audience in place. You know, Brock Lesnar, to me, he needs to work on that a little, wouldn't you say?
Well, I definitely think he you know, he is what he is at this point. He's a part-timer. He's a beast. I like this character. Like he's a cowboy or something along the lines. It's pretty funny. I'm looking forward to seeing this match, but I'm like you. Next year, I think that's the real payoff, when it most likely it's going to be Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Is that assumed at this point? Do you have any insight?
I think you could take that to the bank and cash it. I really do. I think they'll build up Hollywood with that. The Rock's, you know, a mega movie star now. What better way to keep it in the family? Go against Reigns. They'll probably build it up on both sides with their family members and stuff. And, boy, this is going to get interesting. You might have the Usos on one side. Somebody else is going to be on the other side. Going to be really interesting to see how this thing plays out. But I can see this thing getting big. That'll be the main event. And who knows? You might start to bring, you know, if Stone Cold is a part-timer or something, maybe we'll have a match against Brock Lesnar or something, you know. they'll, you know, Hollywood ends up, you know, they like to slap everything around here on the Oscars and something. So who knows what they'll do at SoFi Stadium next year.
Well, and I got to ask you, I was going to ask Dennis Phillips earlier on, what did you think about that incident with Will Smith and Chris Rock? I mean, what's your takeaway from it? And I get it. Yeah, there's one way where I look at it and he's defending his wife. And then there's another where Will Smith is a comedian, Chris Rock is a comedian, didn't really need to go up there and assault somebody. And I'm surprised he wasn't necessarily not only thrown out of the award ceremony, but also thrown in jail. Your thoughts?
A lot of people think it was staged. When I look at, you know, Will Smith, you know, he's come out and he's added a lot of people to his harem, and Halle Berry and all these other people. And looks like they have an open marriage and stuff. And he decides to defend his wife. Who knows? But Chris Rock, we talked about it, you know, out here with a lot of people about 2016 when he made a comment. But, you know, it is what it is. Chris Rock is now selling out his places wherever he is. He's back out here in November. Maybe we'll have a pay-per-view in a steel cage match when he comes out at the Dolby Theater in November to do a show. Maybe Will Smith will be, you know, his opponent.
Well, I think Jake Paul would love to see that happen. And not only that, he would love to, you know, make a match between Kanye West and Pete Davidson. Who doesn't want to see that? You know, celebrity death match for real. We're all with Mark Mancini. Final thoughts. What we're going to see here in the next couple nights on Saturday and Sunday. What are you most looking forward to?
Well, I want to see Reigns hold the belt. I think he will. It's going to be a grueling match on Sunday. The other one is, you know, the RK Bro. I think they'll continue to the run with it. They've been trying to break those guys up for a while. But the interesting one, you know, out of this whole thing is who's Seth Rollins facing, and will Seth Rollins come out on top? Because we know if Cody Rhodes comes in this thing, he's going to be a heel. And we already know Shane McMahon will be a heel. So it's going to be interesting what happens with, you know, Seth Rollins. But give me a surprise in this thing. Bring back Dean Ambrose. Get the Shield back together for a night.
We know that's not going to happen because now he's doing Moxley with AEW. Good stuff there, Mr. Mark Mancini. Go ahead, Madman. and promote yourself here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Well, I'm blessed enough. Next Monday, I'll start my Pittsburgh Pirates podcast with first base coach Tarek Brock and the Pirates. Second year in a row we're doing it. So I'm blessed to do that. The XM Sirius, we're on a little bit of a break. Marianne's doing her traveling right now, so we're doing tape shows out of Philadelphia. Dude, I need you on XM with me, man. I love you, man.
Hey, man, get me on there. I'm ready to go.
I keep telling these guys, man, we gotta get a fatal four-way, man, and break up the joint.
I'm telling you, let's do it. Mr. Mark Mancini, thanks a lot for your time. Former XPW announcer, XM Sirius Radio, Mancini Media. Thanks a lot for your time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
I'll be back next week, man. Thanks for holding the fort for a couple weeks. I love you. This is the show that's sweeping the country.
Absolutely. God bless you, my friend. I know you've had some difficulties with your family, so my prayers are with you. And take care. We'll see you next week, all right?
Love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. There you go. Mark Mancini right there. Mancini Media, the madman himself. And boy, it's been a madhouse tonight, has it not? I'll give you my perspective because I was going to do it on something else, but everybody wants to know how I feel about it. The Bucs are not going to miss a beat. They're not. Yes, they're going to miss BA as a head coach, but now he gets to go into the front office. He gets to give you that opportunity to have an eye for talent, if you will, right? Jason Light, the Glazers, they always had a plan. The way they've gone about it in free agency to keep this core together, and still you have the greatest of all time in a Tom Brady, right? So you always got an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, and I said it best tonight, the Bucs are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm putting it out there because of what they've gone through this offseason and what Brady had to say with unfinished business. They're going to go into the draft. They're going to have that mindset. And let's face it, Todd Bowles and his career record of 24 and 40, people will take a look at it and they'll say, you know what? He's not a very good coach. That's not true. Because remember, he led this defensive staff to great things. Who could forget that postseason when they won the Super Bowl versus top quarterbacks like Drew Brees, like Aaron Rodgers, like Patrick Mahomes? He was responsible for that. He was. So I'm very confident. You not only have Todd Bowles, you have Byron Leftwich. You have everything intact for this team to run the table. We'll see what happens, but my perspective, as always, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is you got to have faith. And why not have faith in this Buccaneer organization, in the Glazers, NBA? Congratulations to Bruce Arians on his retirement. You have brought a lot, not only to this team, but this community. Thanks to all the guests at on the sports web tonight, Mr. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News, Mr. JC Allen of Pewter Report, Leo Haggerty of Amped Up Sports, and of course, Mark Mancini. We'll be back, I believe, tomorrow night. We'll see if we'll do a show here. 3 things here on this breaking news of the night. Once again, Bruce Arians has retired from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He'll be going up into the front office. Mr. Todd Bowles is your new head coach. 5-year contract. More to come here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Again, 3 things. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Have a great night.
Hey, Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.